right, welcome back to Overdunk, everybody, your favorite competitive Pokemon Unite podcast. My name is Zoinks, joined as always by Bridget, and we are back after a long time. Apologies for that, everybody, but in our defense, there was an international tournament going on that involves travel, and then immediately after, a pretty popular American holiday that also includes like travel and family and all that kind of stuff. So we're finally here. And in classic Unite fashion, whenever we take a small break, we just get flooded with news, information, Pokemon, tournament results, so many things to talk about. So we're going to be getting into all of that. Before we even get to that, though, Bridget, we just got started. How have you been, my friend? How was your holiday season?
It was great. I have my family local, which is amazing.
Nice.
I used to live far away from them, but over the past couple years have moved back, and my God, not having to like go on a hike every time I have time off is incredible.
Oh,
So it left a lot of time for gaming and catching up on all the tournament stuff. So
sweet.
I've had a great time. It's been pretty chill, pretty fun, good balance
Mm.
of fam time and me time.
Ah,
So
that's awesome. That sounds really nice. For those of you who don't, I think most people listening to the show probably do, but I am Canadian. I've lived in the States for like just about 10 years now, if not, no, I think it's over 10 now. Anyway, 10 years or so. But seeing as Canadian Thanksgiving's happening in October, I didn't have any like family like Thanksgiving celebrations or anything like that, but did do a couple like small like Friendsgiving things that were pretty fun. But yeah, also pretty in the chill department, but just kind of rallying after a trip to Brazil and back was mostly what I was spending that time with. But I did enjoy the break, and yeah, our chat talking about, yeah, the news is crazy. We have a lot to talk about. So, for those of you in podcast land who won't have the visual cues, what we're going to be talking about today is first and foremost a couple of new Pokemon that have been released into the game since our last episode, which is kind of insane to think about, right? I don't think Dhelmise was released when we recorded our preview LAIC. Surely I wouldn't have used Pokopia as the thumbnail if that was the case. So I'm just gonna
you
say,
definitely would have prioritized the anchor.
yeah,
No, I
for
think
sure.
it came out like the day of LAIC starting. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It was like that
That makes
Thursday,
more
maybe.
sense. Right. So Dhelmise came out, as did Vaporeon, which did come out, I think, like during the weekend of LAIC. So I don't know. Maybe I'm getting my timelines confused a little bit here. But either way, we got two new Pokemon being added to the game. We'll talk about that. We are going to talk about everything esports because, oh my word, the season has like officially started. LAIC had our kickoff. We qualified 3 teams for an ACL LAN final. It's going to be in Yokohama, Japan. But ACL has started in earnest, which is insane. So all 3 ACL leagues, Japan, SEA, and India, have began. So we'll talk about the formats that they're going to be playing, the teams that are already starting out hot. We're going to talk a little bit about the metagame. We're going to talk all of those things. And at the end, we have a freaking producer letter, and they're changing everything in the game. They're changing ranked game mode. They're changing the map. I mean, I'm not kidding. Well, we have so much to talk about, Bridget. So let's oh, I'm gonna hate myself for this, but let's dive into the new releases. Yeah, and the podcast is over. We tried our best. Here we
Thank you,
go.
everyone. We'll see you next time.
Let's get into it. We got 2 of these report cards to bang out, everybody, so let's get into a bit of a speed round. We got Dhelmise, an all-rounder, and Vaporeon, a defender. Reminder, if anybody has not seen this segment, we have been giving every single release that has been added into Pokemon Unite for the calendar year of 2026 a Western World report card. So, in that way, the highest grade you can get in any category is an A+, and the lowest grade you can get in any category is an F. That is, of course, except for the special category in which you can get rated 1 through 5 hundo burgers out of 5. No halvesies. I think everybody understands that. Let's get into it. Let's talk about Dhelmise before we even start giving us assigning letter grades. Bridget, how you feeling about the Anchor All-Rounder?
I have only maybe played it once or twice,
Oh, wow. Really? Okay.
but I haven't been able to obviously personally play it very much. It obviously wasn't allowed in official tournaments,
Mm-hmm.
but I was casting some grassroots tournaments over this weekend that it was allowed, and I was already kind of high on the anchor supply just from it coming out, having everyone else like find a lot of joy in it. It's a pretty unique as far as a kit goes in terms
Mm-hmm.
of what we have in Unite thus far. So
Yeah.
that's always exciting to me. But seeing it in a 5-stack, I love this guy. It is really fun. So I'm big on the Dhelmise.
Okay. Yeah, I'm huge on Dhelmise as well. I see Smim and Relic both talking in our chat, like really, really positive on this release. Personally, I think this might be up there for release of the year. I saw Chris and Husky and a few other people on Twitter kind of giving out their
Yeah.
releases of the year. We'll have to probably do that on our socials or something like that as well. But really cool. I think this Pokemon is phenomenal. Well, I've been playing a ton of Dhelmise, like as soon as this thing released, and then immediately after, just running a ton of games. I've tried a few different builds. I've tried the more damage-oriented, like double stacking build, which I think if you're going to play this thing damage wise, you kind of need to. But I've been playing a lot of the experience share tank Dhelmise build, and I adore it. I just truly enjoy experience share Dhelmise so much. So I'm a huge fan of this Pokemon. Obviously, the playmaking ability you have with things like Anchor Shot, or even its Unite move in some weird cases. Its Unite move is kind of a complex engine. We'll talk about that at some point. But either way, I think this Pokemon is a blast. But let's get into some letter grades. So for anybody who has not seen this before, we grade a Pokemon on a few different categories. That will be how fun the Pokemon is, how balanced do we think it is. Reminder, an A+ we think is one of a, just like a perfectly balanced Pokemon. Strong, not too strong, not too weak either. Flavor/theme, how well it excels there. Its solo queue viability as a Pokemon, and its competitive viability as a Pokemon. So, Bridget, let's start with fun. I know you've only got a couple chances to play it, but you've also gotten a chance to commentate over this Pokemon. How fun are we saying Dhelmise is?
I like seriously thinking about all of these categories. Like Dhelmise is gonna be a star pupil for me.
Mhm.
I think it is very fun. Obviously, I've only done Anchor Shot. I haven't done Whirlpool. I believe
Okay.
is the other option,
Yes.
which I've heard good things about.
Eh.
It's just not as exciting. I know it's more of like the solo queue build, which is like what I was playing, so it's probably what I should have been doing, but alas, I am tempted by the anchor and shooting it out
You're
and
saying
grabbing
Heavy Slam.
people.
Is the
Oh,
other
Heavy
option.
Slam
Yeah,
is the
yeah.
other
Okay.
one. Okay,
Yeah, I
my
see.
bad.
I'm caught up. Yeah, we're good.
Okay, thank you. I'm still learning, but I think it's so fun. It's
Mhm.
pretty funny, objectively.
Yes.
To just grab someone, and it's hard, like it's like also like satisfying. It's
So
not
satisfying.
other like Anchor Shot, you actually have to aim. The Unite move auto locks on, which I feel like is like fair. It has really crazy range,
Mhm.
and yeah, I'm trying to think if I graded it.
Mhm.
It's not like it's for me, it's not like, oh, it's so much fun, I have to keep playing it. But I
Right.
know that's how it is for a lot of people, notably Doob Snacks. I know Doob Snacks is very much vibing with this guy.
He found a
And I
main.
believe
Like,
you
it
are
really
too.
feels like Dupe Snacks found a main finally in Dhelmise,
Oh,
which is really cool.
it's
Um,
beautiful.
yeah, I adore this Pokemon. I think no lower than A, genuinely, in the fun category.
Fair.
I think Dhelmise is so fantastic. The only detractor, I really think the only one, is that Whirlpool is kind of the subpar move. You in that slot, you have either Power Whip or Whirlpool. I like the gimmick of Whirlpool in that, like, you need to use it, and then
Mhm.
the third time it's this really big exchange of damage, and that persists even after getting, like, knocked out or something. It kind of feels similarly to, like, Ironhead Aegislash in a way, in which, like, I'm often using the move outside of combat to, like, prepare for the next fight kind of
Oh.
thing. Which, comparing something to Ironhead Aegislash is usually not a glowing remark.
No.
So that's, like, the only detraction, I think, from this Pokemon. The other thing we should mention is that Dhelmise does have some bugs currently. If only if you were using the only Hollowware it has. I don't
Which you
know
paid money
why.
for.
Yeah, which is insane. I can't believe. I think they fixed it. Maybe they haven't. I don't even know. As of recording
I
this,
don't
I
know if
don't
they've
think
put
they
out
have.
Yeah, I know they put out an announcement on the Japan Unite account
Uh-huh.
on Twitter, which I highly recommend you follow because they seem to put out more announcements there than in
Yeah.
English sometimes. So I know they put out an announcement there that they like recommended you take the hollowware off and that they were working on it, but I haven't seen an official
Okay.
like clearance, like thumbs up yet.
Interesting. Okay. Well, all that being said, I feel like that bug is not going to take away from the fun factor for me of this Pokemon. Personally, I might be ready to give out one of my first A pluses. Like I
down.
think
Seriously, I'm very like as big of an all-rounder hater as I am,
which you are.
openly,
Yeah.
and aggressively.
Self-proclaimed and championed hater.
Yeah,
of
that's
all-rounders.
me,
Yes,
baby.
yeah, exactly.
I am very impressed with
Okay.
the Dhelmise of it all. Also, that might be something. Speaking of like bugs, maybe for our report cards next year, we could do like a bug score, like how buggy is it? That's
Oh,
something
man.
in like
Yeah.
the Sims 4 community. There's like a community like pack like survey that comes out every
Okay.
year, and that's like one of the things is like a bug score. Like how buggy is the pack? So
Yeah, that is
we
a
may-
fair
we need to
thing we could
consider.
add. That would really bring Dhelmise's GPA down. But
Like,
we
for
could,
sure.
yeah, we could have that thrown in there to the mix. I like that a lot. Yeah, I don't know. I think this Pokemon's really fun. Its Unite move, like you were mentioning, that sure hit gigantic range. However, it does like no damage, which I think is probably fair for everything else it's accomplishing. Like you still get the stun if they don't cleanse, which I think is kind of an interesting like way that Dhelmise works in its Unite. That if you cleanse, like if you like full heal or whatever, Dhelmise's Unite move, Dhelmise will still chase you. You just don't get like stunned in that final instance.
Yeah, which
when
is
it lands
pretty
on you.
long stun, man. Like
Yeah,
it's
was good.
the CC is significant for sure.
Yeah, I think way better players than I are finding better times to use it. At the moment now, it's like I'm just getting one extra knockout at the end of a team fight when we barely miss one. I'm like, I guess this is relevant, but for the most
You're
part,
like,
but like I think in coordinated play, when you're like setting up some of these like big moments, you're like, all right, I missed my anchor shot, but I got another button to
Yeah,
press,
one
y'all.
more.
We're going in. Yeah, it's a big charge button. I like it a lot. So anyway, huge fan of Dhelmise in that way. It feels impactful and a lot. But let's start going. I think the fun category, we're locking it up at A+. Let's move into balance level. I think Dhelmise is a pretty solid spot. I think 3 out of 4 moves are extremely viable. Its Unite move is strong. But it's like insanely damaging. So I would say like a pretty positive outlook there. Stats wise, this Pokemon feels pretty good. I think a flavor theme is a different category, but I was going to mention its size, which I just think is hysterical, but that probably falls into a different category.
Like, why is it so
It's
big?
so big, and I love it. But anyway, I don't know. I feel like Anchor Shot, they nailed the hitbox distance, all of it. Like, it feels tricky to hit, but when you hit it, it just feels so satisfying because of like how tricky it is, like to actually land that move. So I don't know. I'm feeling pretty good about balance level. The only detractor is like, Whirlpool could be better. Maybe even Heavy Slam could be better. Heavy Slam just feels kind of like fine. But like,
yeah, not as exciting.
But like the thing is, I'm not saying it's bad. So it's like I'm not like in balance level. It's weird to critique that. So I don't know. I think it's like, I don't know. Maybe just I think my initial cursory rating would be like A.
I was even thinking maybe A-.
Okay.
Because of like,
if Whirlpool was turned up just a little bit more.
Yeah, and honestly, sometimes this like it's definitely not like too good, I would say. But there's sometimes where I'm like, he's kind of this anchor man it's pretty it can be pretty scary.
Yeah,
so
problem alert. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm down for A- then. I'm
not,
down.
but it's just like especially in like the current release climate, this is head and shoulders above every other balance release that we've gotten.
Oh, it's just godsend is what Dhelmise is compared to everything else. Yeah, we'll get to that license card in a second. Okay, let's move on. Flavor/theme. Nautilus. He's a grass ghost type Pokemon, which is hilarious. I think we're up to like 4 grass ghost type Pokemon in Unite now. Is that right? Decidueye, Trevenant, Dhelmise.
I feel like there's another.
I feel like I'm missing one.
You're the ghost boy. I don't know.
I am the ghost boy. Maybe there's only 3 in Unite, but
this might be the 4th.
It's the most like popular. It's one of the most popular typings ever. But still, Dhelmise, I think, stands unique. Anyway, I think Anchor Shot and it's a Unite move, I think it's like Seaweed Snare. I think both of those feel
Yes.
very thematic and like a big win. Even Heavy Slam, I actually talked a lot when I was watching this Pokemon in just terms of like trailers and like El Chico Eevee early access looks, if we want to call it that. A lot of its early moves I thought felt fantastic in terms of like feel. Like Payback specifically, like it's this
Ooh.
big, huge sweeping attack, and if you take damage while you're in the animation, it does more damage. Like, I don't know, that just feels really cool. Like, I don't know, you feel like it's just a big spooky anchor. So I don't know. I feel like the sound effects of Dhelmise also feel amazing. Like when you're using the Unite and you get like the sound of like the wooden wheel spinning as it like oh, it's so good. I don't know. I'm thinking another A category on Dhelmise's
Yeah,
flavor slash
I
theme.
would very comfortably give this A plus. I just feel like when we talked about I feel like a hook Pokemon concept was a pretty popular like idea that people wanted in the game, and it just felt like everyone was like, "Oh, Dhelmise. Dhelmise is
Uh-huh.
clearly fits that role," and then them actually like giving it to us. I don't know. It just like it's exactly what people pictured, exactly what people wanted. I think the Seaweed Snare name for the Unite move is pretty solid. I feel
Mhm.
like you maybe said it was underwhelming. Did
I
you
did
not like
I
it?
did feel underwhelmed by
Yeah.
it. I'm not gonna lie. However,
I
their like
will.
Unite move names have been slowly on the decline. I think ever since
Yeah, that's
Tinkaton's, they've
valid.
kind of been like been a little less and less. So
That's valid, but I raise you. I've heard that the actual creature of Dhelmise is the seaweed
mhm,
on the anchor,
right,
not like the anchor itself. So, and I don't know if it's a nod to that theory by calling it the seaweed
probably.
snare, but in my head, that's what it's for, and that makes me like it more.
I
So,
guess I just
I
like it's
like it.
more it's less the seaweed. I think the seaweed part's cool. It's That's not what
Yeah.
a snare does. Like a snare is a trap that's stationary that someone walks into. A snare does not go yeah shoot
I guess I
across
just
the
didn't know what
entire
a
map.
snare was, if
Yeah.
I'm being honest. So you got
My
me. You
my
got me
northern
there.
Canadian starting to show in another part of the podcast now. Interesting.
Oh no.
A snare is an instrument. That's true. Ripto, the percussion expert in here. So there are a few options. If it was a reference to the percussion instrument, that would actually make me laugh a lot. But yeah, I found the Unite move a little, the name a little subpar. Unite move itself, pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Fair.
Um,
Fair.
okay, let's move on to the solo queue viability for this Pokemon, which I feel like might be the only category that it slips a little into.
Yeah.
It is a Pokemon that I feel like when it's played at its best, it is playing in a coordinated setting. You can communicate if you're hitting your big anchor shots or who you're planning to anchor shot, when your Unite move is going to be impactful. It has solo queue ability. One of the best things about this Pokemon is how well it plays Path, by the way, or Lane. Just because of its passive, and like you get the like Ironworker stacks or whatever off of goal zones. Um, so like it's meant for lane, essentially with this Pokemon, which is really good. So I think it's solid. It's just, I mean, it's not like winning you every game in solo queue, like sometimes I find every now and then I load in and I just see like a wall of defenders and all rounders on the other side, and I'm like, oh great. Well, I can't really go anchor. Like, who am I gonna anchor shot here? You know what I mean?
Who do
So
I want to drag toward me? Yeah.
maybe it's like solo queue isn't even necessarily what I'm judging. It's more like blind pick. Also, I'm like kind of judging it on. I
Well,
feel like it suffers a bit. But either way, I would put this thing at like a B in solo queue viability. Like, I think a good player can still make Dhelmise work into a lot of comps. It's certainly not as good as some of these top tier releases in solo queue.
yeah, it feels like it's almost double edged that it has basically a solo queue build and a comp build. So it's
Mm-hmm.
nice in a way that it's like, okay, it's like flexible in
Right.
that regard. Like you can kind of adapt on the fly. But it's also kind of like, well, what if I really like Anchor Shot, but I'm a solo queue player?
Yeah, but
Which
what
is
if?
kind of
Yeah.
my specific situation. But I feel like a lot of people's as well, because it is like it's different. It's like an alluring new thing. I
Yeah.
like it almost feels like attackery in a way where you have to hit the skill shot, so it scratches that part of my brain that I like. But
Mm,
I would agree with you that it kind of stinks that you are almost a little stiff armed into one or the other.
yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. Okay, well, how do you feel about B or maybe even B minus? Like we could even drop it down another peg if we
Yeah,
want to.
I would agree with that. I'd be okay with a B
Okay, we'll give it a standard
because
B.
it's like
I
it
feel
does
like,
have a
yeah,
good solo queue option.
yeah,
Like it's not
that's
like you,
true.
I don't know.
No, you're totally right. Power Whip is just a generically solid move. And then if you're
Hmm.
stacking on it, it also gives you like a ton of shields as well, which is really good for that Pokemon. So, yeah. I feel like we've been generous to Dhelmise in a couple of spots. Like, I feel like balance level and solo queue viability, we're both like giving it maybe a bit more credit than it deserves, but we both like this Pokemon, so it's okay. Okay, competitive viability. Bridget, you're the one who's actually gotten to commentate some Dhelmise tournament play. How you feeling about this thing as a competitive Pokemon, even going forward into events?
I am obsessed. I
Okay,
don't
lit.
necessarily. It's interesting because comp is pretty obviously all arounder heavy. More often, I mean, typically there's at least one attacker in the mix, pretty limited pool of attackers for the most part, but there's even pretty many comps that are, three all rounders, two all rounders, speedster.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
you're not necessarily getting an attacker all the time. So, I'm not exactly sure how like the broader community will see this, but in the grassroots tourneys I witnessed over the past weekend, it wasn't like it was like an auto win,
Mm-hmm.
but if you had a Dhelmise player that could hit the anchor shots,
Yeah.
which obviously ping I'm sure was like playing a role because some of these tournaments were, for all of the Western regions,
Sure.
but oh my god,
Uh-huh.
it was lit. There was one team, I wish I could remember who it was, but they were playing Anchor Shot, Dhelmise with Shadow Sneak Mimikyu, and in like the end game fight, you just see the Dhelmise like engage with the Unite move, just like goes
Oh.
into like four or five of them in their choke, and I was like, what is he doing? And then all of a sudden the Mimikyu was just there too, because he like shadow stuck in,
Uh-huh.
and because the Dhelmise like can get vision, and
Well,
then the
and
Mimikyu just
vice
goes crazy.
versa, too. That's kind of an incredible combo. Like, if you Shadow
It was
Sneak
awesome.
across the pit, and you get vision of them, like, hiding in bottom elbush, or even on the other side near jump pad, Dhelmise's range, it needs vision, right? Like, you need to have map vision, that
Hmm.
Pokemon. But if you get vision with Shadow Sneak, Dhelmise can go. So now
Yeah,
Mimikyu
which maybe
has
that's what they
a full
did.
send partner. They can
It was funny, see, because they're just
high
like,
five
except
and
for
dive
it was
in.
like, what is this guy doing? And then all of a sudden they're like deleted, and I was like, oh my god, this was so like just like that kind of range all
Oh, that's
rounders.
awesome.
I don't know. It feels like Mimikyu is a little like partner in crime now,
Yeah,
so it was
okay.
really fun.
I like
I
that.
think there's a lot of opportunity. Like I said, not an auto win, but it was definitely getting banned as well.
Okay.
Like obviously there's not been a lot of time with it, so I could definitely see why some teams are like, yo, we don't play this thing yet, like let's
Mhm.
not bother. But the teams who were feeling it looked like really good with it, so I think it's definitely has some opportunity in the upcoming tourneys for
Okay.
sure.
I think it's exceptional. The only thing I feel we mentioned double-edged sword for this Pokemon a couple times already. I think there's a couple of weird points of contention for it. If you're gonna try to play this
Hmm.
thing like top path brawler, that feels like a
Yeah.
pretty tough spot for it to be. Like, you're gonna kind of need to play this thing, in my opinion, more like Lucario. Like, I feel like you're gonna need to punt first Reggie fight with this Pokemon. Like, it's gonna need to offlane to get its levels, get its stacks, if it wants to be the main like top path Pokemon, which can happen. It's just like we're seeing that be less and less the popular option. More often, people are wanting like something that can team fight a little earlier, like your Zacian, your Buzzwole, your even Blaziken at the 5. You know, like
Hmm.
some of these options. However, if I'm looking at it in the tank spot, it's kind of filling the same role that I would consider something like Mamoswine to be in which you want a tank that's exceptional at starting fights. Like, you want an engaged tank, which Mamoswine's amazing at
Hmm.
that, right? You Earthquake or high horsepower in, then you set up anything with an Ice Fang, and boom, the fight's on. Like, Mamoswine's very good at getting in there and starting to fight. Dhelmise feels like the same way, which I think it does a really good job of that, even with like Anchor Shot, and then you double down with your Unite move, etc. The only thing I get worried about in that is like, well, speaking of Mimikyu, we talked about how Mimikyu, one of its sort of pseudo counters is like a double defender comp, right? Like if Mimikyu can't Shadow Sneak the backline and defenders just have an eye on where Mimikyu is and keep just standing in the way to make sure Shadow Sneak can't hit them, will the same thing happen with Anchor Shot when teams have practice against it? You know, like, is a tank just going to face check Dhelmise the whole time? Like in a team fight. I mean, like, all right, well, I'm not letting you in. Like, I'm just going to block. And in that case, maybe you just ult the backline and then you're starting to play. I don't know. I think it's good, but I am worried about like the counterplay that will evolve once people start playing with and against Dhelmise. All that being said, I think it's very, very good. I'm just like worried about the role that it will slot into, you know?
Yeah, and I did see it in both like EXP share role and full damage role. I can't really remember, like, it didn't stand out to me which one it necessarily did better in, but teams were experimenting with both. And I totally agree with you. It definitely has like, oh, like Numon. People aren't fully used to it yet. I feel like probably especially in a 5-stack setting, like,
yeah, totally.
It was barely allowed in the tournaments this weekend. So we shall see, especially with like the meta is changing so much. It's going to be interesting to see where everything falls out here shortly on this new map and all. But yeah, I don't know. What are you thinking in terms of grade here?
I was like A- B+ was kind of where I was sitting in that
I'm
vein.
down for B+.
Okay,
I'm down
let's
for B+.
do B+. I think it's a good spot to sit at. This Pokemon's really strong. It's really fun. I just think in a competitive level, it might start getting a lot of counterplay influencing it. That's where I'm dropping it out of the A category into the B category. But still think this Pokemon's great. Really big fan of Dhelmise. Speaking of which, time for our Hundo Burger level. Out of 5, of course, no halvesies on the Hundo Burgers. I'm thinking, God, Bridget, I might say our first 5.
I was gonna say 5. I could just feel it in my bones. How could you hate? Like, seriously, who hates this release?
5
seriously.
Big Hundo Burgers. Yeah, genuinely. I don't think you could find a hater. Dupe Snacks would give it 6. He tried to give it 6. I tell him no, only 5. But he would try to give it 6.
You got to get on the podcast and give it 6.
Yeah, exactly.
Dupe
We need a
Snacks
episode if we're gonna get Dhelmise at 6 Hundo Burgers for crying
I've been
out loud.
trying to get him, guys. I promise.
Yeah, it's true.
Someday.
Bridget has. So we're giving it 5. Give it 6. No, Buzzer Bob. We can't advocate for 6. Once we open that, it's a whole can of worms. All right.
The grading scale goes crazy.
Yeah, it's out the wild. All right, Dhelmise, as an all-rounder, total recap, fun level, A+, baby. Balance level, A-, flavor/theme, A+. Solo queue viability, straight up a B. Competitive viability, a B+. And Hundo Burger levels, 5 out of 5. Holy moly, Dhelmise is winning. Time to move on to Vaporeon.
Oh,
okay,
no.
Here we go. This is where we start getting the controversy, folks, because I got Bridget on this podcast who 1, loves this Pokemon, 2, hates all-rounders, and 3, has been waiting for a kit just like this one. Chat, brace yourselves. Bridget, how you feeling about Vaporeon?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I love it.
Yeah,
I understand. It didn't really get KO'd. I just want to say,
immortal.
We get codes from the ambassador program. Shout out the Pokemon ambassador program. I gave both of mine away. I bought this with my own money to be broken. So if that makes anyone feel better about this, I at least gave them out to the broader community to play. So maybe that makes it worse. Not sure.
Right. You paid to win, but you made it for others to not have to. I like that. That's good.
Felt like that was charity. That was like the least I could do.
An ebb and flow, like the tide.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. Water. A lot of water jokes on our horizon.
Yeah, and honestly, generous to call them jokes.
Nods, perhaps. I definitely understand the grief with this. Like the first couple days of release, I didn't unlock it, but I just Yeah, I paid money to play it and I didn't make content on it. Sue me! Sue me. The thing is, I get the grief. I get why people are upset about it. It does not go down. Like the first couple days when I didn't have it, it was pretty frustrating. I was like, wow, like you need like 4 guys up here just to hit like this thing alone, and then maybe it will get KO'd.
Yeah.
It was pretty bad. So I get it. But this was I'm gonna be honest, this was for the girls and the gays. Like this, there are so many broken all-rounders, and I get that it's like different when the tank is broken. It feels like worse, I
Yeah.
guess. But it's like I just feel like people cry so much harder, and it's like, okay, you guys got the Empoleon, you got 2 megas, you're about to get 2 more. Let us have this. Like this is not an only me opinion. I see this on Twitter all the time. I see people being like, buff Vaporeon again. Like I don't care. Like, and like I don't know, maybe it's like the bubble I'm in, but I just think I know a lot of people really, really, really hate it like extra, but I raise you 4 mega all-rounders in
Mega
a 3-month
Charizard
span.
X. Yeah, Mega Lucario still doing their thing. Yeah. Okay. I'll throw my 2. I mean, after the emergency nerfs that were happening to this Pokemon, I think we're at a better point. I think this thing is still incredibly strong. However, I feel like it does have a little bit more counterplay at this point in time, so it's a bit more fun. Yeah, the way this thing released, like I don't know. Like it was truly insane. I was using the broken things and still couldn't knock out Vaporeon. You know what I mean? I was like, this is, in my opinion, it's a problem. But we are 2 different sides of the coin with Vaporeon. We talked about that even before. I got flack for my IRLs. Frog.
Really?
Yeah, Frog was like getting mad at me for my Vaporeon opinions.
Good.
Yeah, no, I was, and I deserved it. It was just, this Pokemon, wild the way it released. Boy, do I miss the public test server sometimes. Even though I never used it, it felt like maybe it had some kind of impact. But either way, let's break this down by category though. Let's move through Vaporeon because we are already like 30 minutes into this podcast. We're only done 1 release. So let's start. Hey, it's okay. We started pretty early tonight, so we got time.
I got time.
We got a megasode going for everybody today. That'll be fun. All right.
It's always a megasode.
It's always. Let's talk Vaporeon. Let's talk about how fun this Pokemon is to play. So I also have had the chance to play quite a few Vaporeon games. I played a few just to try the Pokemon after, like as soon as it released. I was like, okay, I get it. This thing's insane. And then they did like the Icon event, and I was like, oh, I want to get the EV.
Oh, well, now I want the Icon.
So I played enough games to get a Vaporeon Icon after that. So I played my 5 Vaporeon games, and I do find this Pokemon fun. I'm talking just now because I know that you are like. You're gonna have a lot more to say about the Pokemon than I do since you play.
You need to be the chaser.
Yeah, that's true. Also, shout out Toon in our chat saying they need Mega Char Y for USC. The only jungler that likes playing Charizard. Yeah, it's true. Ever since Kratos retired, it's only Toon now. It's the only jungler who likes playing Char. All right. How fun it is to play. I think Flip Turn Muddy Water is a blast. I find Hydro Pump Aqua Ring kind of boring. So I'm just sort of right in the middle ground. But Bridget, Mike, to you, how do you feel about this Pokemon in terms of fun?
I mean, winning is fun, but
that's true.
I would agree. I actually have been liking the Muddy Water Flip Turn of it all. I think probably objectively the heal. Is it Water Pulse, Water Gun,
Aqua Ring,
Hydro Pump, whatever you shoot out, the stun thing that you Hydro Pump that you pair with Aqua Ring. I feel like that build is probably still better, but I love like flip turning and like zooming around and just like hitting something and jumping. I think the AoE stun is pretty fun. That is reminiscent of the HOK character I like, so I find that pretty fun. But I don't know. I mean, it's definitely fun. I definitely like playing her, but I am not like playing it every single game. I'm kind of like, oh, Latios is pretty fun right now. Cyndaquil is pretty fun right now. Like,
oh yeah, great shout.
It's not holding like my full attention, but I would give her in the B range for sure.
Okay, in terms of fun, interesting. Okay, I'm gonna push for B minus then in terms of fun, But honestly, for me, it's just kind of another. It feels very much like Umbreon to me. Like I just find Umbreon to be one of the more like, boring.
I think Umbreon's worse, but maybe
Yeah.
I've had it longer.
Okay, you know what? We'll go with standard B for Vaporeon because I find its Unite move a blast. Where you like
That's true.
jump around and pull them all in. I actually think it's like the best. Well, maybe not best in terms of like winning, but most fun evolution Unite. I think. Like I find it kind of maybe last. So we'll stick with fun. Okay, balance level. Okay, I personally I don't think we can go higher than a C grade in some variety because of the state this thing came in. The way it initially released, we'd have to give it an F. Like, I'm seriously.
Well, we base it off of release, don't we?
Yeah, we forget every time we do this recording, but if we base it off release, it's F. Like, we have to.
It's an F.
All right, cool. Hey, quick. We need to get through these categories fast anyways. Perfect.
Okay. Think about categories.
W.
We all know it.
Submit retort. Like, this thing is an F. All right, flavor/theme. I think it's better as far as like evolutions go in a lot of way. I think
Agree.
A flip turn just feels great. Like as a
cute
move. I think Aqua Ring kind of like it fitting in that like defender/support role is kind of fun. I don't know. Flavor theme feels pretty good. For Vaporeon. The only thing is it has no invisibility, which I just my like heart like remembering that the original anime episode of Vaporeon that could go invisible when it was in water. I was like, that's crazy.
I feel like that's Pokedex entries too. But I guess it's like I do kind of wish we had like a river kind of thing. I almost wish we got that with Kyogre. Yeah, like I kind of wish we did, and where it like I think I was talking about it with you, where it's like, what if with Mega Gyarados, like the Magikarp, like flips on its like vertical, and he like swims through the thing. Like that would be cool with Vaporeon too, if it got like a cloak in like a river, but we don't have a river system because we're in the sky, I guess. But Kyogre's here now. I don't know. It's gotten a little fuzzy in that regard. But I would agree. I like the moves they picked overall, how they implemented it. Kind of wish she had the orange background and they just gave us the support Eevee, but it's fine. I don't even care.
Feels like you do.
So
okay.
Why would you say that?
All right, fair enough. Okay. I mean, it does pretty good. I'm having a hard time thinking of things to actually bring it down. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
again,
I don't know what else I would want other than the
Unite move having like this big like splash and pull effect feels really cool too. I don't know. I might give this thing just an A, straight up.
I'm like trying to think of what else I would want, and I feel like it kind of hit the mark pretty well.
All of its moves feel like I don't know, maybe unique enough to make this category. I don't know. It feels weird. All right, solo queue viability. Just gonna go ahead and toss an A+ here. Competitively.
Good.
Competitively, does it have more counterplay to it competitively? Probably,
because you probably have to prio pick it, and then they can kind of build the comp around it.
Drops a bunch of anti-heal options and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
You can throw some incenses and some bangles at this thing and
call it a day.
Kill the
if it even gets
kaiju.
Through.
Yeah,
because Dhelmise was allowed in the tourneys I was watching, but Vaporeon was not. Right. So I don't really know about her, but I can't really see it like getting through bans in its current state.
Yeah, I mean,
so I don't know.
It's probably great as well. Maybe we just do an A- for the sake of curse incense. How do we feel about that? Also, sorry.
Yeah, one item can counter it, so I'll give it the minus.
Yeah, sorry, listeners. I was my PC made a sound, which is and I'm not gonna edit it out. So there we go. Competitive viability. I think we'll give it.
You shouldn't have to.
The classic report card balance level F into A+, A- for competitive viability. That is a very popular pipeline in these report cards that we've done.
They're usually direct, inverses of one another. So
exactly. Okay, so this thing absurdly strong. However, it is fun and it does hit the theme pretty well. Richard, I'll leave this basically entirely up to you. How many Hundo Burgers are you giving this thing?
I mean, I try to do the Hundo Burger as a combination of like my feelings and the community's feelings, but As a woman, I just have to like speak
Right.
for the girls, and I would give this like 4 IMO.
Holy. Okay.
So I was like, no
Okay.
way.
Like, I don't want to fight the women, but I am saying that,
If
you
you want
know,
to, you can.
as the token white man on this podcast, I think
Yeah, we need one.
I really gotta pull for, unfortunately, a 3. Like, I'm gonna pull
That's
Vaporeon
fair.
back down a little bit. The way this thing released is a crime. So was
know.
Mega Char and so was Mega Lucario. Don't get me wrong; those were also crimes. But yeah, I'm bringing it down to 3. We'll leave it there.
That's fair. I'll take it. I'll
Okay.
take it.
Yeah, I mean, we got up to 3, so okay. Recap
Yeah,
for
we're lucky we got that.
recap for audio listeners. Vaporeon, its report card, fun level got a B, balance level got an F, flavor/theme got an A. It's not its highest mark though. That was in solo queue viability, which it got an A+, and its competitive viability getting an A- thanks to cursed incense. All right. We did it, everybody. We did our first topic of the night on the podcast.
Let's be fast.
Go. Yeah,
That's fine.
Yeah, we're not good at this. Okay, our next topic is going to be, I'm just gonna call it esports. Feels like the way to do it. We had a lot of really huge tournaments happen in the last couple of weeks. One of them I was at. Bridget was watch partying all of them and casting grassroots events at the same time somehow. A lot of spinning plates behind that camera on Bridget's side. We had a lot of really fun stuff to talk about. So we're going to first talk about LAIC, I think, because that was our preview episode that we did last time. So let's chat about LAIC. Bring it up here. Here we go. The 2026, which always trips me up because it's part of that season, Pokemon Latin America International Championships Unite were in the end won by Dignitas. Did any of us choose Dig to win, by the way, in our prediction?
No.
Which is crazy.
I don't even know if we picked an NA team. No, I picked Project Mbappe.
You picked
Who
Mbappe.
did it day 2, but I picked NA.
Yeah.
So I'll take it.
Hey, my team, I picked Force, and they got top 3. So, like, I feel like I'm within the margin of error here a little bit. You
did
know
the
what I mean?
best.
No,
yeah, because
only in this category, by the way. My Pokemon picks were a little troll.
Soph and I crushed that. I'm gonna say that right now.
Yeah, you really did. I'll try to pull that up on stream here so we can look at it too, because
it's in our Overdunk chat, I think.
Dupesnax has just filled it with so many pictures of all the One Piece figurines he's purchased, so I have to scroll past all of those. I don't know
where he puts them. He doesn't have a place to put them.
His office is small, so yes, I don't know. Oh, okay, we're zoomed in here. We'll zoom out a little bit, and perfect. Yeah, you can't see it because our cameras. That's awesome. Okay, there we go. So Yippee! Most picked, I had Umbreon. Oh boy, actually, where did we land on pick rate?
Is this LAIC?
Okay,
this looks like LAIC.
6th, 7th, 8th, 9th for most picked.
Top 10.
You got most picks correct, by the way. With Blaziken at first. I did. Well done, well done. And then
big for me.
Yeah, and then Soph chose Snorlax, who got 4th. So pretty impressive. Most banned, I said Darkrai was going to be the most banned, and that was 3rd most banned Pokemon.
Pretty close.
You said Blissey, who was 5th, and Soph said Mega Charizard X, who was 1st. Which makes sense. And first by a large margin as not a close one in that way. And then win rate, I mean, a little harder to tell, I guess. I have to find
yeah, I just kind of flipped through these 2 images.
I chose like Espeon, which was truly insane. Which got 39.29%. I regretted it immediately after saying it. You said Miraidon, who I have to imagine crushed. Yeah, 64%. Oh my goodness. But then Crustle was 62%. So you and Soph doing extremely well, but you're leading with Miraidon with the 64%, and potentially the highest out of the frequently played Pokemon at the very least. Yeah.
I think Zacian is actually a little higher.
Oh, really? Okay.
And that's on the other page, that like top 10.
75.
Yeah, 75. I know.
Yeah.
Nerf, by the way.
Yeah. That Pokemon is crazy. Oh, and so pick Peru. Ooh. Yeah, okay. So I feel good about my winner pick. That's the only category I really excelled at. Most band I also did okay, but all right, interesting. Okay.
I think overall, like as a group, we did pretty good.
Yeah.
But
Agreed. Agreed.
Dig, man, they
Woo-wee.
freaking showed out.
Yeah.
It's just so hard. Like first tourney of the season, like we don't have a lot of like stuff to base it on because there's so many team swaps.
Mhm.
Like there were a couple grassroots tourneys, which is what I fully base mine off of, clearly.
Yep.
So it's always hard to do the season opener,
Yeah.
but man, they just what a tourney from them. I'm still
Yeah.
like, I still can't even like believe it fully. Like
Yeah.
it's actually crazy.
Not to
I'm so
mention,
proud of them.
and you can see it here on screen for those of us, those of you watching live or on YouTube. The bracket they had to contend with was
Oh
also
my-
insane in day 2. Like Peru, reigning world champs, who looked a little shaky this tournament, but hey, that's Peru always has shaky starts to the season. So Peru fans, I wouldn't get too worried yet. But anyway, Dig wins that one 2-0. They go on to beat their in-region rivals in Infamous 2-0. And Infamous, I think, was a great team. They really impressed me
Demons.
on day
Yeah,
one.
I
was
like them a lot.
Whoa, they're looking strong. So I was very much excited about that squad. I hope we get to see them at more internationals. I really do. Take down Infamous. They go on to beat Force in a 3-2 gigabanger match, by the way.
Oh my god.
Both our semifinals
semis,
were
dude.
just incredible, like highlight reel level matchups were so fun. But they go on to beat Force, and then in the final they beat CACM 3-0. Yes, it was a sweep. However, game 1, one of the most insane endgame finishes, like split screen, look at the score to see who wins kind of situations. So fun. But yeah, an amazing run from them. That's not even counting their group stage. Other side of the bracket, though, like I think the runner-ups in this tournament also demon run. Like CACM taking down Game Over and Mondakaru, but then beating DreamMax 3-2, and DreamMax looks really good too. Like I think DreamMax and Force, I know they're the top 2 teams out of this, or out of the Brazil squads in this tournament, but I believed it. Like watching them play, I was like, okay, these two are going to be like a legendary team, like a rivalry in the regional leagues coming up pretty soon. So yeah, I can't wait to watch these teams play against each other more. I think DreamHack and Force are going to be such a fun series all year long, which is awesome.
Yeah, I like seriously, LATAM League is gonna be lit. Like these teams were so great. Like you already said, Pro Reigning Champs didn't have like the best tourney, but I do feel like there's like a lot of pressure after winning Worlds, like what we saw kind of with Fennel last year. I just think it's like
it's a good point.
It's a lot, I think, at least like mentally and like a lot of pressure, but I believe in Peru. They've been playing together for a much longer time than at least like the Fennel guys had been. I feel like that kind of helped out with LG, that they at least had like a core group to lean on. So I like believe in them. I honestly feel like I don't know if it was like the 3 bands, like they just felt like they couldn't get on board with this meta. Weirdly enough, because CICM was like playing like crazy speedster nonsense, which you would think Peru would be like all about. But
speedster nonsense plus Psyduck, which was very fun.
But yeah, all I'm saying is both of the teams that made it to Grands are moots with me on Twitter. So if you want to make it to Grands, you should follow me back on Twitter, baby.
There you go. That's the method. I mean, Dubesnax was saying it the entire tenure he had on this show. Follow Big Bridger on Twitter.
But really big shout out to CACM. I was just having the best time watching their run. I know I asked you, I think before, but I don't know if this was LATAM North's first time in an international finals. I never went back and checked, if I'm being honest.
The only one I was trying to remember if Entity 7 had ever pushed all the way to, but I don't think they had. I'm pretty sure they've gotten to semifinals. In a couple of options. But
either way, it's the first time in a while, if ever, LATAM North has made it to the Grands of an international competition, which I feel like is so overdue. So many of these players are demons. I know some of the players from CACM were at NAIC, and they were super fun to watch. So I'm just kind of glad they're getting their flowers, and they looked phenomenal. Also, the biggest shout out to Falb on Force. Holy crap.
Yeah.
That guy
demon.
I don't know if there's a player that looked better consistently in every single game.
Uh-huh.
Like, seriously, I was like blown away. And he's playing Volt Tackle Jungle Pikachu and like Empoleon. I'm like, what's happening?
And
Like,
Mimikyu.
this is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, as much as the
Yeah,
Unite
I know.
Esports Twitter account wanted to roast me for my Mimikyu opinions, I was fighting for my life out there in the Discord
That
DMs
is
with
so
them
funny.
and on social. I was like, if we just took our data on Mimikyu from top 8 forward or top 16 forward, I'm crushing. Like, I'm doing so well. It's all the, non-ball knowers that were ruining my Mimikyu stocks. Which, like, I mean, the Pokemon finished with a 56.7% win rate. Like, that's very, very solid. Better than Blaziken, right? Like, this Pokemon is
True.
so good. And yeah, fall playing Trick Room Mimikyu was just elite. Loved watching that play. Yeah, Pokemon's very good. But anyway, the Empoleon, I think, was the thing I was most excited for.
Girl.
The best was, I think, when Soph interviewed him, and he was like, I was honestly shocked everybody else wasn't playing Empoleon. I think this Pokemon's great. Like, I was kind of shocked to hear nobody was playing it, which is hilarious to me.
I love that.
Pokemon looked great. So, at the end of the day, just a reminder of the stakes that Asia Champions League was for. Obviously, it's the start to the season, but championship points are gone and stuff, so it's not really like a start to the regional leagues, but it is the qualifier for Asia Champions League. So, I think the 3 teams we have going to ACL are sick. Like, Dig from NA, like, representing NA, they clearly look like the best squad in North America right now. Yeah, and then Relic also just double confirming right now in our chat that was the first time that LATAM North has had a team in a grand final. Thank you. Yeah, I think
Thank you,
37's
Relic.
gotten like a semifinal in an EUIC or something before, but not quite. But anyway, they the 3 teams we're sending in CACM, Force, and Dig, like, what an awesome bag of tricks to send over to Japan to represent the West. I think that is going to be so sick. I think those 3 teams from 3 different regions, it felt a little storybook ending in that way. Like, there's some really great teams going, and it's going to be awesome. I can't wait to watch ACL. It's going to be truly so crazy.
I know. I am too. I got that sentiment just like kind of scrolling Twitter. Everyone's pretty excited about those 3 getting to go. I got to give another shout out to Force, man. Not only did they have to go through all 5 games in the semis, end up losing, then having to immediately go play another best of 5 on stage, for all the marbles. I was like, dude, I feel bad because it's just you don't even have time to gather yourself. And it's I think they lost game 1 and then took it to a game 4 and won. I'm like, bro, I am just really impressed with them. I am.
Yeah,
I
mental
understand why
fortitude is
so
insane.
picked them. Yeah, I was I could not do this. This is sick work. Really, really impressed with them, and of course with DreamHack as well, getting that runner-up spot. So really excited for dude. I just LATAM North, LATAM South, and Brazil were just monsters. So I'm very excited for the LATAM League. I wish LATAM North was in the NA League, but it's okay. I'll get over it.
Yeah, we probably should talk about that. I don't know. I think the thing that got me thinking about it was just how many orgs were in Brazil, 1, and then 2, just how many good teams we had. I was like, man, it really feels like there's enough teams down here to do LATAM South and Brazil to have their own league, and then include LATAM North in the NA teams, but oh well, I guess not the way it's going to go this year. Maybe next year we see some kind of adaptation. And listen, our formats change every single year, so it's not like it's out of the question, right? So hopefully we'll see something like that. Anyway, I want to talk quickly about the metagame. It was interesting. Blaziken being the most picked in this tournament, I don't think is a huge surprise, especially considering we were in Brazil, and this Pokemon is just this region's favorite mon. Brazil loves Blaziken, and we're going to see it so much. Eldegoss being up there was not a huge surprise to me. This Pokemon feels really, really good right now. I don't think it's the best support, but it's also just it's the one Pokemon that I feel like every support player just can play really well. You know what I mean? Most support players are going to be very comfortable on Eldegoss. So it's always good to have a staple pick, especially when Pokemon like Blissey and maybe even Hoopa are getting banned out. And Latios, right? So
for Eldegoss, I would say it's very reliable. It's good for all that poke damage that Miraidon was putting out, and even Raichu and Latios when it made it through. But it also is just such a demon early game,
Mhm.
which Hoopa does extremely well as well, but man, that red buff Gossifleur just does it. It just hits really hard
Oh,
in that top lane, which can be the difference with all of those bruisers.
yeah, it's so hard to deal with, especially whenever you're playing Eldegoss. You're usually pairing some kind of auto attacker with it as well, which just means that like that early game is so difficult to deal with in the path phase, which can be really hard. But yeah, interesting metagame overall. I think Alolan Raichu took a little while to warm up until we started seeing it actually pop off. I was pretty confident this Pokemon do well. I think Zacian
Mhm.
doing as well as it did was not a surprise to me. Miraidon doing as well as it did surprise me. I think Miraidon was a little farther off my radar than I would have liked. But seeing just how dominant of an attacker it was, I was like, oh yeah, okay, there it is. That Pokemon is tremendous, and it just doesn't have many things that can threaten it right now. So yeah, pretty phenomenal. Mega Charizard X and Mega Lucario having some pretty weird stats. I just wanted to talk about these ones quickly before we move on to the next tournament. Mega Lucario having a 56% win rate and Mega Charizard X having a 54% win rate. So both positive. And then let's throw this one in there too. Darkrai with a 31% win rate. Some of these power picks not doing super well. There's a lot of I feel like they're kind of different cases for each of them, like Mega Lucario, Darkrai, Mega Charizard X. However, I think it comes as some surprise, maybe especially in the Mega Charizard camp, just for like how much fear this thing was inspiring, like leading up to this
A
tournament.
lot.
A lot of most banned Pokemon, like by far and away the most banned Pokemon in the tournament, which I feel like does lean into its lower win rate, right? You have to remember with these Pokemon, a lot of these teams that are participating in this tournament, most of their practice is coming from scrim play, in which there are bans, and they will not be playing the most broken thing in the game a lot of the time because that Pokemon is getting banned in all of their scrims. And then all of a sudden, sometimes not enough ladder, too much scrims results in awkward play around some of these powerful Pokemon. I feel like we're still waiting on top level players to truly understand Darkrai. Shout out to Toon. He looked great on it, but I don't know. There's not too many players out there who I think play like the expert level Darkrai. There was a Dream Max player that was absolutely pop. Was it Matt? Was Matt's playing the Darkrai on that one?
I'm about to say,
I
I
think
would
it was
think it would
Matt's.
be Matt's, but I'm not
He was
sure.
incredible on the. He's
Matt's
responsible for a lot
looked
of that
great.
30% win rate on it, I think. But yeah, really cool.
Yeah, Darkrai is an interesting spot. I do feel like I think it's a combination of, like you said, maybe not enough Charizard practice, and also I do feel like at least at this point, Mega Lucario and Mega Charizard are getting like a little bit solved in a
Mm-hmm.
way. Um, And I was watching Toon VOD review, I think, ACL, some of the ACL games, and like some of the teams picking Mega Charizard, and he was just like, this doesn't look like a team who plays Mega Charizard. Like, this doesn't look like a Mega Charizard team. And,
Yeah.
like, you do have to, like, you have to give it a lot of resources. Like,
Yeah.
you're probably prio picking it, but if you can sneak it in later, that's a little more ideal because you don't want to play it into too much CC. So if they don't have a
Mm-hmm.
ton of CC, like you can kind of like make it work. Like, and it is like pretty interesting who can pilot it pretty well. I think I'm blanking on which ACL team I thought was looking good on it. Maybe Onik, Rise.
Okay. Yeah. I
I
think
think. Oh yeah, was
T1
it?
played it pretty well in their first day of SCA, I thought.
Oh,
I
okay.
thought they had a pretty good Mega
Who
Char.
were we? I want to say we were watching it, and we were watching Onik versus T1, and we were like comparing. James in chat was like giving us the Mega Char
Oh, yeah,
timestamps
that's
of
right.
levels.
Oh,
So
yeah, I
that's why
forget
I'm
who it
thinking
was, but it
about
was an
Onik. Yeah, I think
insane.
it was Onik because we
Yeah.
watched Onik in T1.
Yeah, well, they lost. Maybe
And
they lost that finals the day before. So like, we got to take the Mega Charizard away. Makes sense.
yeah, they locked in.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I think it's a combination of that. But it is interesting that,
Mhm.
the comfort picks do seem to pop more
Yeah.
in like a competitive setting.
Especially a start to
Ultimately.
the season, right? Like we are coming out of the off season.
Mhm.
Obviously, there's grassroots tournaments. Obviously, people were preparing for this tournament, but it's still not just quite the same. A few more interesting stats out of LAIC that I did want to poke around at just a little bit before we move on. Smim was talking about it, chat. Dodrio at a 9.5% win rate. Woof.
Yikes.
Dodrio worlds different in Japan compared to LAIC, which is kind of crazy. Espeon at a 39% win rate. Bummer there.
Oof.
But Mew also pretty low at only a 42% win rate, which I thought was kind of interesting. Obviously being one of like kind of the marquee attackers going into this tournament. Like a lot of people saying like Miraidon, Mew, and then like maybe Intel or Latios being two other options that you would consider to be up there. But Mew with a sub 50% win rate is kind of surprising to me. But could be another mastery thing. Who knows? And obviously
Yeah, I feel
the
like this was
win rates are determined by the teams that win, which is
I was just about to say, I feel like CACM, like Don Lux on that Inteleon. Oh
Yeah.
my god. I want him to play that every game. He was looking nasty on it, and I was kind of surprised I didn't see more people playing it, but Otter, attacker player on Dignitas, was addicted to the Latios. No one else was prioritizing Latios at all except for Dignitas, which was crazy
Yeah, it was
because
crazy.
we've seen in ACL it has been popping all over the place. They're running a lot of Eon twins, like they're picking
Yeah.
Latios too, which we barely saw, I feel like, at LAIC. So it's fun to look at all the differences, but I think it is like a read of what at least those two, like the top two team attacker roles were like falling into for the most part. And Miraidon, if they could get it, was obviously, I think, the attacker of choice.
Yeah, maybe more options than we originally anticipated, and maybe not all at the same time. It's a weird meta. It's such a weird meta game for attackers. Like it really is. But, all right. Well, let's move on to the other major tournaments that started up right around the same time, and that's of course Asia Champions League. Yeah, we got 3 leagues to talk about here for just a minute. Liquipedia does not have everything updated for Japan. All they have is the scores for day 2. I don't think they have the scores denoted for day 1. At least not on my Liquipedia page. But
I have them in my spreadsheet if you want them.
I was more just curious about like overall standing if you had it, but
it's in the spreadsheet.
Okay. I'll find it in a sec. Okay. Either way, it's a lot of fun things to talk about in Japan's ACL, right? This is where Overlord's playing. He's playing on Reject. Had a much better day 1 of tournament for Team Reject. They went 3-1 overall. And they kind of inversed for day 2. They ended up going 1-3. They had a tough first matchup, right? They go up against Fennel. They have to play Detonation Focus Me as well. All in that, which I think is another great team. They do get a 2-0 victory over Exist, but they do lose to Axie's Wave, who also be Insomnia. I don't know. Axie's actually having kind of a easier Swiss run, I think, in the second day. But anyway, 12 teams in Japan to be following. I'm gonna put us back on the screen here. 12 teams to be following. Fennel, in my opinion, looking like the team that is sort of pulling away and being one of the strongest ones. And actually, when you look at the overall standings right now, I believe it's Fennel first, Zeta second. Correct me if I'm wrong with any of these. Is E36 third?
So those are the day 2 performances.
I'm trying to remember
the overall points. I'm looking at the Twitter right now. I was trying to copy and paste it from my spreadsheet, but it wasn't working. Okay. But I don't know if it's on their Twitter, which is annoying. I have a screenshot in that spreadsheet if you want to pull it up, but or I could just say it. So with like the point totals over day 2, Detonation Focus Me is still 1. Fennel has climbed to number 2.
Okay.
And is it Enter Force 36 is 3rd. So
and is Zeta 4?
Overall. Yes.
Okay. So yeah, the point I was thank you very much. I was confused on a couple. I forgot that Detonation was still in first place. I think just from the eye test of watching 2 days worth of Japanese Pokemon Unite, personally, I think those 4 teams are the big 4 in Japan. It might not even be a hot take, but this is my way too early prediction. I think those 4 will remain the top 4 for the remainder of Swiss, and the gap will only widen. I think the rest of the teams, like the other ones in contention, are probably like Insomnia, Axe's Reject, probably end of list.
And,
like
Scars is actually doing well as well. So like after the top 4, Insomnia's 5, Scars is 6,
Okay.
Axe is 7.
So did Scars go 3-1 in day 1 of tournament?
I believe so.
That
Let
would
me
make sense because they
scroll.
went 2-2 in the second day of tournament.
I
So
think they're technically 4-4. So
okay,
most teams are 4-4, but pending how many map drops you have. So I'm pretty sure. Let me look at my little chart again. I'll tell you all the teams who are 4-4. Like Reject is technically 4-4 as well, but they're at like the bottom of the 4-4 pool. So Insomnia is 4-4 as well. So 5 through 8 are all 4-4,
right.
but have that game differential.
Yeah.
So
Makes
this is where
sense.
like Reject has, I guess, a -2 game differential. So they've
Yeah.
given up more game 3s.
That makes sense because in day 1,
yeah.
a lot of the ones they won did go to game 3, and then in day 2, every match they lost was an 0-2. So not doing any favors for themselves in terms of map differential. Really rough night for Reject. I think they'll do better. They're an interesting team. You and I were talking, like Overlord playing attacker on that team is kind of interesting, especially just because it feels like they have 3 all-rounder players and then an attacker player on the bench in Pee-wee, who's like their substitute. Listen, I don't even know if this team is a coach, but one day there's be some roster choices. My opinion, Fennel looks like the real deal. That team looks so good right now. I'm very excited about that squad. Dead Nation Focus Me, I think, started really hot in day 1. Day 2, they showed a little more weaknesses, but I do think this team can still be really strong. And shout out to Enderforce. I think they're kind of like new kids on the block when it comes to the league, and they are looking stellar as well. So
yeah, I truly don't recognize any of their names. Like I have nothing. I have my dumb little spreadsheet, and I have like nothing listed on them because I'm like, I don't know who these kids are. But true. I read that article from one of the Japan casters. Well, I Google translated the article. I don't read Japanese.
Yeah.
Where he kind of like broke down all of the teams because every team in Japan has had a shakeup. Like people have moved around, so I was kind of like tracking where people were like coming from and like where all of these teams have, you know, assimilated. And Enterforce, I believe, is the team that won like a student league in like last year. And so I think they're pretty young and they're like grassroots like demons. Like they have won some like student tourneys, which I couldn't tell you the name of. But
some high school level events and stuff like that. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, Kata, Namu, ISKW, Chokol, and Rezda.
Okay.
I believe. Like truly, I don't know where they came from, but they are. Yeah, I think they went 4-0 on day 1. So and then dropped 2 games day 2. But still, I mean, the 2 games they dropped were to Zeta and Insomnia, and they beat Insomnia the day before. So
there you go. Yeah, they're looking
pretty good.
They're looking awesome. I mean, shout out to these teams. I'm pretty pumped to watch a lot of them. Tune in our chat saying it could be hard to make predictions because we are getting a ton of changes to the game, like map, EXP share. That is true. We'll see. That's why I said too early of a prediction. Who knows what it'll actually end up being. We'll take a quick look at Japan's meta. All I have is the stats for day 2 right now that I'll pull up.
It's more relevant.
Yeah, exactly. Maridon just crushing it here. Clefable in that first pick category. So funny to me. Mega Charizard X having tough win rate deals over here as well.
Yeesh.
Actually dipping all the way down to 31% win rate. Blastoise doing quite well at 68% win rate on that Pokemon. Kind of the counter to a lot of the popular top path Pokemon at the moment. Mr. Mime getting picked.
There's no way he's not in the top 15. There's no way. It feels like he's in every game.
Yeah,
sorry.
It does.
I'm
I don't know
by the Mime.
Maybe the stream games were prioritizing Mr. Mime players. I don't know.
I don't know.
But anyway, Mr. Mime at a almost 20% pick rate is truly insane to me, but only sitting at a 36% win rate. So Japan might believe in the thing, but the numbers are not there to back it up. Shout out to Slowbro, though. Only picked 6 times in the tournament, so a very tiny sample size, but does have a 100% win rate. So you love to see that.
And they will play it. I don't know if it was day 2 or day 1. I witnessed this, but they will play it no EXP share top path Scald Bro. So don't sleep. Don't sleep on the bro. I also love how much they love Alcremie. I don't feel like we saw a single bit of Alchemy at LAIC really,
I don't
but
remember any.
it
Yeah.
feels like it pops up quite a bit for I can't remember. I'm blanking on SEA if they've been favoring it at all, but I like seeing it pop up in Japan, and it's doing pretty well. So I
Yeah.
know obviously not the highest picks, but still on par with the Duck, which is crazy.
Yeah. It's kind of funny to see the Darkrai and Mega Charizard X win rates kind of flip flop in these two regions, right?
Yeah.
Like Charizard having a really tough one. Darkrai actually up to 57% though. Doing quite well. I mean, Miraidon just feels so evergreen at this point. Like, I don't know if you'll ever have a bad comp for Miraidon. Mimikyu not doing super great over here. Don't love to see that. Only at 45%.
That's
Yeah.
not too
Nah,
bad. But
yeah, exactly.
could be better.
Sableye
Could
making
be
the ban
better.
rate chart. You love to see it, but Darkrai, the most banned
Based.
Pokemon. Mimikyu, the second most banned Pokemon. That's right. They understand. They know. They know.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see like how low like the Charizard, the Miraidon, and the Luca are like compared to the West. I love looking at like the meta differences. It's so interesting.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
where
and it feels like Japan versus NA is like always one of the biggest gaps, like in terms of
yeah,
meta discussion.
discrepancy.
Like, yeah. And then Latin. Honestly, it feels like kind of three triangles. You got EU and NA, which are quite similar, and then you got like the LATAM regions who are quite similar, and then yeah, Japan is just on their whole on an island. Okay, but that's Japan. Let's talk SEA quick. We're not going to talk about India too much. They've only had like the 1 day of competition, right? I think.
It's been two, but
They
I
have
haven't
had
had a
two.
chance to look
Okay,
too
gotcha.
closely at
Well,
it.
actually, let's start with India then. I don't think I have metastats, but we can just talk about the standings currently.
hmm
There are a few teams that you'll probably recognize on this list. SAUL, of course, Godlike Esports, Revenant, I would say, are all the three most popular or well-known India orgs, at least in Pokemon Unite talk. However, leading the league right now is Reckoning Esports, gets first place in day one, and then they went out round one of day two.
Yeah.
So ending up with 8 points, however, their tiebreaker matches ended up going. So kind of the best performing out of the round one exits. But either way, Reckoning Esports doing quite well, leading the lead. But Revenant Expert right behind them. That's like Crowley's team, if anybody's familiar with him. Having a rough day one, but then a great day two. So just interesting. The two more consistent teams, though, would be Meta Ninja and SAUL, who just kind of had middle of the pack finishes, both of them, which sets them at tied for third place. So like feels like even though they're not points leading, they're probably the teams that I would consider to be like doing the best in quotes, just with consistent finishes. But the tricky thing about being consistent in the India League, the SEA League, is that they're using Japan's format from last year, in which they just play out a bracket every single week of competition, which is fun, especially for viewers, right? Like it's a little mini tournament once a week, which is kind of a blast. However, due to I think it's the random seeding, but maybe it's not, because Reckoning being first and then being first seed in day two, maybe it will just be seeded every time. I'm not sure. But either way,
Probably.
yeah, and Godlike being first seed, maybe it's based on last year's performances, because then Revenant would be seeded second. I'm not too sure. But either way, whoever your first round opponent is can truly be the difference maker, right? Like Reckoning versus True Rippers, like True Rippers being like, great, we got to play against one of the best teams round one. That's tough to deal with. SEA, kind of a similar story for their first day of bracket. But anyway, all that to say,
Yeah,
this is kind of where India is standing at the end of 2 days worth of competition.
Yeah, I would say I haven't been able to watch too much, but I did kind of look at like the rosters because so Japan has 12 teams. India actually has 10, which
Right.
is pretty cool. I like how much they've been able to expand, and SEA only has 8, which is kind of interesting because I feel like obviously there's a lot of hype about SEA, notably.
Yeah, they went down.
The T1
to
of it
8,
all.
right? Didn't they used to have 10? Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
I'd have to check, but yeah, I thought it was interesting. The sizing of it all, maybe just like more org interest. I don't really know, but really excited for Soul 8. They kept their same roster. They did make it to Worlds this year, but they did get out on day one. They went 1 and 2, but I'm excited for them, and yeah, there's a lot of good gamers that you already kind of called out, but those were the highlights for me for sure.
Yeah, I mean, All Might's always always a player we shout out, right? On that squad is kind of a big name there, but we also got Snowy, who I thought was a really incredible player as well. Badsha did a great job too. So a lot
Yeah,
of players
they're
to look
cool.
out for in that league. Keep an eye on India for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
def.
okay, into SEA, which is a really interesting one. Obviously, this is one that we talked about a few times. The fact that Slash is playing in this region now on EVOS Onyx, I believe, is the full title of that org, but just going by EVOS right here. Yeah, you got Slash Can, Shingdi, 94, Chin, and Z-Ray on this one. So Slash kind of fitting in for the Ikura on that team. But a lot of great teams here. Onyx Rise, T1, like just such a major org in all of esports. Just won League Worlds for the 20 billionth time this last year. Entering into Pokemon Unite, which is kind of insane. Their format is, like I said, akin to Japan last year, and then it's just that it's a top 8 single elim bracket every single day of the week. And the first day, T1 went on a run to win the whole thing. Beat Slash's team first off in the 2-0 fashion, then took down Full Sense, and then beat Onyx in a really, really fun to watch 2-1 set in the grand final. And then in day 2, it was T1 versus Onyx round 1. Which makes me think that these are like randomly seeded. I don't know, but what a demonic quarterfinal round to enter into the tournament, which is just so crazy.
I know. I was like, I don't know. I am curious how they do this because yeah, I do not think this is based on anything, which is fine. And I love that they didn't like hold it until like the end. They're like, we're starting the stream with T1 and Onyx, baby, and it was awesome. It was fun to see Onyx get their revenge on Team 1. T1 definitely looked way shakier in day 2 compared to day 1. Not sure what happened. Maybe teams, or at least Onyx, like studied up on them quite a bit more and obviously had their number and like had experience running it back with them from literally the day before. So it's not like these were like a week apart. These were like back to back in Japan had a week in between their first and second day. Yeah. This was literally like 24 hours. Yeah, so
yeah, take a rest and play a second tournament the next day, which is
real quick. But yeah, some other standout teams, obviously Rival winning it all on day 2, which is the Ice Squad, Ice Yang, HT, Yamu.
It's kind of like MYS of this year, but now with Ice. So
exactly. Yeah, Alter Ego, Paper X type beats.
Right.
So.
Yeah, that's true. Pick whatever moniker they played under at any given time. Yeah.
But yeah, pretty exciting. Honestly, all of these squads are looking pretty good. Notably, like I actually think like Made in Thailand looking pretty decent.
Yeah, 2 finishes at 10 points apiece. So losing in both semifinals. But then I guess also losing their 3rd place match both days. But top 4 both times. So they're sitting right at 4th place in the overall standings, which makes sense.
Yeah, some of these guys were from like Buriram from last year.
Okay.
Who
makes sense.
got 3rd in SEA, ACL, 16th overall, ACL.
Okay.
Tarawab of note.
Yeah, they did like they had an amazing start to the like regular season. Buriram was like I was like, oh my gosh, like, this team can't lose in regular season of last year's ACL. But all right, well, there's kind of our league updates over all of them. I believe I have stats for SEA as well. This might just be day 1 and 2. Okay, awesome. So this will include day 1. Yeah, thank you so much, Poker. As always, huge shout out for these really cool graphics. After day 5, winners play in another tournament of that day. Yeah, honestly. Okay. Miraidon still crushing it over here with a
global champion.
66% pick rate and a 66% win rate. Eldegoss, another weird one. Charizard X again. Another just terrifyingly bad win rate with a 61% pick rate, but a 36% win rate. And yes, thank you, Smim. Mimikyu, this is my favorite region. 78.5% win rate. Hello, hey, how are ya? Mimikyu, just crushing it. Even though it is beat up by Clefable, that's right, Delitz, it is at 85%.
Go, Clefable, go. Clefable, I feel like is getting at least more respect across the board, but Man, Charizard is looking fraudulent.
Yeah.
I mean, Mega. You have to play as Charmander. That is like the
You
biggest
have to play as
L about
Charmander, and
it.
it feels like competitive teams can draft around this Pokemon and have contending play against it. So, yeah, I
Yeah.
think, I don't know, get it kind of exposed. However, another Pokemon that I think is shocked to see at this place, SEA just not really feeling this Pokemon, is Zacian. At a 27% pick
Ooh.
rate and only a 30% win rate. Like, really struggling. And how about Buzzwole? 15% win rate in day 1 and 2 of the SEA tournament. Like, really interesting top path options out there available for SEA at the moment. Maybe you can play that role, maybe, but we see a lot of Urshifu games from this region. Feel like SEA is a big Blue Shifu fan. We're going to see more of that Pokemon throughout the season. I guarantee it. Unless we get some balance patches with this new map, who knows? But yeah,
Mm.
any other interesting things to point out on this meta graphic, Bridget, before we kind of put a bow on our ACL talk?
I don't think so. I think that Eldegoss win rate is surprising too, only 36% in
Yeah.
the second highest pick. It's just so interesting where like regions like fall, like preferences fall. Like,
Mm-hmm.
man, they are clearly like Eldegoss game, or sorry, they're not Eldegoss gamers. They're
Yeah.
Clefable gamers. We can also see Blissey has quite a high win rate, 85%, but
Whew.
not picked as often. So
Yeah.
I have to imagine that may be the ban
Mm-hmm.
effect there. As far as picks go, they are still playing Mr. Mime over here. I don't know about the
Yeah.
mime, man.
Only 5 times in 2 days of competition, so a little
Okay,
lighter
true.
on the
Two
mime,
days. 2 days.
but yes, it still is showing its face. I won't give it an adjective. But yeah, it's there. Scyther with only 4 times but 100% win rate. So Scyther gaming looking pretty good. Leafeon kind of the
Yes,
Scyther
sir.
counterpart at really strong performance though. 10 picks at the 80% win rate. Leafeon still sticking as a really, really solid jungle option. Basically in any meta at any time.
Yeah, it does feel like those two are like the speedsters of choice right
Mm-hmm.
now across the board, I guess. Obviously some nuance, aka Frank from CACM playing Meowscarada, which no
Yep.
comment, but it
Nah.
worked, I guess. Still
They love
crazy though.
they're gonna make double speedster happen no matter what it takes.
I love it. It is
Yeah.
so I love it. I loved them. I love them actively. So
Yeah.
so exciting.
All right. Well, I think that will conclude our talk about the Asia Champions League and LAIC. Got to bring all that to a close. A lot of really fun competition so far. I know Bridget's been doing the watch party of the ICs. I did a little like watch party / VOD review, a bit of some Asia Champions League games. Hoping to do more of those. So try to tune into those live. Those will be on our personal channels, though. Probably not on the Unite Mike's channel, but who knows? That might change. Okay. Final topic of the evening. We're getting a new game? Not really. We're getting a lot of new things, is what I will say. And we'll start with kind of the whale of it all. Kyogre is going to be showing up. Kyogre is going to appear in Theia Sky Ruins. Now, I think most people expected this was going to be happening, right? I mean, especially with China having both of these Pokemon available as endgame bosses. I don't think it's a huge shock that Kyogre is going to be added in. However, I think a lot of people were kind of shocked about the speed in which this Pokemon has been added in. But anyway, looks really interesting from the notes we have about it, or at least in this tweet that my head is covering right now. It says that teams that knock out Kyogre will gain the ability to score goals more easily, which usually is their way of saying faster scores time, and will also continuously recover HP. So, probably more of a HP recovery buff rather than a damage buff like Groudon. A lot of questions. Will it still change hands based on knockouts between that? How much is the HP recovery? Because, like, is HP recovery worth it enough in endgame fights? Who knows? However, the map does look substantially different, at least from what I can tell. Like, the whole middle area of the map is, like, covered in water now. There's a ton of grass on the map. There's citrus berries in the middle of the map to heal you. And when I think when night falls and the final stretch starts, it starts raining. So like there's truly like a ton of changes incoming.
Cool.
So yeah, Kyogre are going to have at least just a pretty big impact on how the map feels. And it's happening December 4th, so very soon. So anyway, first, just Bridget, thoughts on the map changes already. How are we feeling about it?
Very excited. This basically dropped like over like from day 1 to day 2 of LAIC was when we got this huge producer letter.
Yeah.
And we were joking in my watch party like, oh, Kyogre win, LOL. But we were having so much fun watching the Groudon like competitive. Like that was the first tournament with Groudon available. So everyone was like very excited, and I do feel like people are excited for this, but people are kind of like liking Groudon. Like this is not a Rayquaza Zapdos situation where people are like good frickin' riddance.
Yeah.
Like it is a little weird because people are like, oh, I like Groudon.
Right.
Like
yeah.
so that I feel like is kind of like odd, I guess. But that's not me. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I will take anything, and I would rather we get like the more the merrier. Like give it all to me. And I'm of the mind like my first thought, I think when I like tweeted it initially, or like when they tweeted it and I like quoted it, I was like, oh my god, I hope we're getting like a map rotation, because like I don't know why else would we go 3 years no map change, and now like within 2 months span they're like here, and it's also at the beginning of the season. Like I don't know, I'm just excited about the prospect. I also like the flavor of like, oh, Groudon brings the drought, there's like less grass everywhere, but now that Kyogre's here there's like more grass everywhere. And you can kind of see it in this picture, but it looks like the buffs are in different places, or at least the blue buff, you can see it.
Whoa. I have not seen that yet. What the heck? Even the red buff looks kind of like in a different spot. Am I crazy?
Yeah, I think there's only like 2, like the middle lane jungle farm is definitely different. So it's almost reminiscent of like Zapdos, where the buff is maybe like safer, quote unquote.
I'm like really like squinting and looking at this image. There's no way that it's like back to Zap map where it's like different sides, right?
No, the blue is on the bottom.
Right, but I'm just like, the grass looks darker on one side slightly. And I don't, well, that might
kind of see what you're talking.
No, that might just be
what you're talking about.
That might just be lighting though, because if you look at the top 2 like towers that aren't even a part of the map, but if you just look at it, like the grass looks darker on one side, so it could just be like the game like sun or light source is on the left hand side.
Yeah,
so that's probably all it is. But okay, anyway, yes, it is interesting. They do have those little alcoves there, which is curious. Okay.
I know. I mean, I know we're getting it in like 3 days, so we're gonna know more real soon. But I'm like, oh, I want them to like tell us more. Like
me too.
Now, but it's fine.
Bridget, you mentioned it. We'll talk about it competitively a little bit here, but just even like casually, you talked about map rotation. What is your like optimal way to map rotate? What would you like? Would you like when you're queuing ranked, you get a randomly assigned map, 1 of 3? Would you like it to be during certain like ranked season, like this ranked season, it's this map, or battle pass season, it's this, or even like this week, it's this map, and or like that kind of thing, and it's a set rotation? What would you prefer in like your ranked play experience?
I think someone who replied to me was like, oh, it would be cool if you could like vote or like pick which one you like wanted, or like if you got to, and like maybe not necessarily for like ranked ladder, but for like a custom mode for competitive, like the team who gets to pick the map doesn't, like then the other team picks first, or whatever the frick. I think as far as like ranked ladder goes, obviously I think we're getting Kyogre for like the season at minimum. Or that's like my assumption. Like we are just getting Kyogre for now.
Okay.
But for like the future, I would like to see, I think I mentioned it on when we were watch partying.
Yeah.
I would be cool with like a week, like flip-flopping.
Yeah.
Obviously, maybe even shorter. Like I would be down for maybe like every couple days kind of thing.
That'd be cool.
But I'm not. I obviously we've never had that kind of system ever. The only time we even came close is when they like kind of randomly gave us remote for like 2 weeks, I
Right.
think, and everyone was so mad. So I don't know what I'm very curious to see what they are gonna do with this.
Me too.
Um, but
See,
yeah, Smim mentioned it in chat. I don't really want Rayquaza back.
yeah,
I'm a little afraid of them doing that. I just feel like there's so much like love around Groudon map. Like
mm-hmm.
I would hate for them to kind of like I
Revert.
don't know. Yeah, cut themselves
I
off at the
think
knees and
perfect
like be like
worlds they uptate Raymap.
Rayquaza.
Like they update
Oh,
what
that
the
would be
Ray buff
great.
is, right? Like we change it
That would
so
be
it's not
great.
like a shield mechanic and it's still like a yeah, we see Hornet saying it in chat too. Like Ray back
Yeah.
with a rework would be so sick. Like what if they even just
Agree.
like what if it's random between Groudon and Kyogre for a bit and then they like gives them time to lab out a Ray map rework. I think that'd be pretty sick. But
I'm down.
and then like, at some point, maybe by like spring or Pokemon Day or something, at that like which is like what, late
Mm,
February or mid-February, then they're like, hey,
yeah.
now we have the triple map rotation. Here's like the rate change. There we go. Like we got 3 maps going. Or it's Theia Sky Ruins, but like you get 3 versions of Theia Sky Ruins or something. I think personally, I think that would be kind of cool. Yeah, movement speed buff would be really fun. Or like movement speed or attack speed, like one of the two. Attack speed
Oh
sounds
God.
still giga broken.
I was like that, maybe, but speed does too. If there's like, okay, bye. Like,
Right.
like I don't know, but I
Yeah,
would
either
prefer
one sound
that.
broken,
I
but
like,
all just get rid of the shield is like the biggest thing. Like change the mechanic that is
yeah,
similar to Groudon and hopefully Kyogre, in which it can be a buff that can be transferred upon knockout. Like that's fun, in my opinion.
yeah.
So
If
we'll see.
like the way the buff of Kyogre works in that regard, that it's a buff, not a shield, and it's transferable. I am super thumbs up on that. I am pretty excited that we're getting a non attack damage buff as
Yeah.
well. I know the biggest concern is like, well, what if it's not really like worth it? Which
Right, and you
I
don't
am
even hit
definitely a
Kyogre.
little yeah, which I'm definitely like a little worried about as well. But I just when I was watching LAIC and watching Groudon buff in effect, I was like, okay, the most broken thing about it does feel like how much damage these
Totally.
Pokemon are
It
doing. Like
totally is. Yeah.
it is a lot, which like
Which is
it's
kind of the
the end
point of
game
it.
objective.
Yeah.
Right. I agree. And everyone is in agreement that it's like still way better, but it's like, wow, like sometimes it does just feel like, oh, Jeebus, like
Right.
it's a lot of damage. So I'm very, very interested that they're experimenting with something different. So it could like have the potential to be even more of like an interesting end game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty excited that they're like experimenting with that. Like we haven't had a non-damage dealing buff since Zapdos, which is
Yeah.
kind of crazy to think about. So I'm excited for it, but
Yeah.
I am with all things Unite hesitantly excited.
Right. Yeah. Cautiously optimistic, whatever it may be.
Always.
We'll see. We'll see what it ends up being. I'm honestly curious a lot more on like the map changes overall over the Kyogre buff. Like
Mhm.
to me, the HP recovery buff, like we'll see. I honestly think it might be a little less relevant, but like what else changes with this map? What if like Regieleki just permanently spawns bottom on the Kyogre map and the triple Regis go
Yeah.
top or something, right? Like we could have like 3 different versions of it. I'm not too sure, but anyway, I don't know. I will say I haven't gotten to talk too much of like overall thoughts on the map. I am excited about Kyogre being added. Competitively, I absolutely want like map drafts or whatever. I think that could be really, really fun. Ranked ladder, I don't want that. Like I don't really want map voting or
Yeah.
anything like that. I would prefer it to be just randomized, especially maybe in 5 stacks you could put a preferred variant or something.
Oh, that'd be
In
cool.
like 5 stacks though, I don't think you'd ever want to enable that for trio or less. Like it just
No.
sounds bad. You don't want to split player bases like that, but like 5 stacks you're already planning on having longer queues, so maybe it's fine. I don't know. But that sounds like
And it's
something
like
they
a
would never do
preference, not
anyways.
a
So yeah,
requirement.
exactly.
Well, yeah, also that.
Um, but yeah, I'm excited. And hey, more China things means we're just steps closer to TFT in this game.
Yes,
Just
sir.
like millimeter by millimeter, we're getting closer to having the TFT mode in our game. Like that would truly, would revolutionize stuff. People forget that it exists.
Pokemon Day.
I feel like I'm the
Pokemon
only one
Day.
that remembers that. Okay, let's go. Letter from the producer. So the map changes were included in this. There's also a few more things. We talked about how the AS coins were going away in our last episode for the license points. We got a little more information on these. Basically, 10 AS coins will transfer to 1 license point. Points required to obtain a license. And license points will vary from 325 to almost 2,000 points. So a huge variety, and basically I'm sure the old licenses will be quite cheap and the newer licenses will be quite expensive in terms of using your points for them. I've also saw some interesting conversations on there, like from El Chico Evie and stuff, saying that like the battle passes do not look as plentiful coming up pretty soon in terms of rewards. However, you got to remember they're probably moving like other things into this. So I'm imagining like license points and stuff are going to be on the battle pass and everything. So
fair.
Well, maybe not fair, but
hopefully fair.
Hopefully fair. So we'll see. I'm imagining they're like making space for that. I'm not too sure. Usage tips: obtaining a license at the shop. If you would like a specific Unite license, we recommend obtaining it via AOS coins at the shop before the maintenance starts on December 4th. After the update, you will no longer be able to obtain Unite licenses via AOS coins. It's like, listen, use your coins now. The system's going to be a bit tougher for you. I think that was like a lot of the big questions is people like, do I spend my coins now or do I not? It seems like if you were interested in getting licenses via the coins, yes, spend them now. Now is the time. If you're thinking about getting other shop items and stuff, maybe you want to hold off. But you'll be able to do the coin exchange for like quite a while. We'll see. Okay, anyway, shop stuff aside. Let's get to the ranking system. This is crazy. I'm just going to read a couple of the things. Main changes to the system. Rank progression will change to a gauge. The way players rise through the ranks will change to a gauge system, in which players battle to earn rank points to increase their rank point gauge. Players will earn rank points based on ranked matches results. Performance-based rank points. In addition to rank points gained or lost by winning or losing a match, players will also be able to earn rank points based on their performance in battle. For example, the team member that takes the most damage or interrupted the most goals will be awarded a title and receive extra rank points. With the addition of performance-based titles and rank points, no matter which role a player fills on their team, their contributions will be rewarded. And in this screenshot, we have the number 1 damage dealer getting an additional 3 points of ranked, and being the number 1 knockouter, KOer, will get 3 additional points. To put that in perspective, how many points that is, for this person to move from beginner class 5 into the next tier, which moves down. So to get to beginner class 4, they need 100 points. I was trying to remember which way it went. I'm like, when I start an Ultra,
because they
which way do I
changed it
go?
at one point.
Okay.
It's
yeah,
been a
did
while,
they?
but at one point it used to be like the inverse, and then they changed it.
Interesting.
And so yeah, now you like go toward the number 1, but it used to be the opposite. So
all that to say,
fun.
100 points for one of the lowest ranks is a pretty huge, like, and you get 20 points for a victory and then 6 points for bonuses. I think bonuses are going to be a pretty small amounts of exchange, but it might make the losses feel a little less bad when you're playing in ranked matches, is like what I think the bonuses will be applying. But okay, there's a whole new rank. We'll talk about that in a second. Bridget, I want your thoughts on ranked mode, switching to a gauge, and then points being awarded for in-game victories or in-game achievements.
I definitely have a lot of questions about like the extra points from like the rewards, because in the screenshot, because right now they do give you those little badges for like, I think it's pretty much assists, KOs, like there's a healing one, a damage taken one, and a damage done one. So like all the metrics you see on your screen.
Right.
So I was a bit worried they were just gonna do like those and like repurpose them, but from the text you read, how it mentioned like, oh, most interruptions, it's like, oh, well, that's not something we've ever been able to see in game before. So I'm curious like how extensive this is going to be, like how many you can get. I mean, I imagine if there's like up to 20, you could get like all 20, and then that's like, 20 times 3. I don't know.
A lot.
The math. There's math there.
60.
Yeah, okay, math guy. I am just very interested in how
Never been burned harder in my life.
Got him. I would never do math. I play Pokemon Unite. Why
Okay,
would I do that?
math guy.
Yeah, like Keller said, I kind of want to see what all of the things are.
Right.
I hope there's a lot. I hope there's more beyond just like the things we've been able to see in game. Obviously, so we know from LAIC, we didn't even talk about. We got to see so many extra stats
Oh yeah.
for the competitive game, and it was really exciting. Everyone was super hype about it. LAIC did it. ACL even implemented some of them in their statistics they've been showing. So,
Mhm.
like, I want a hindrance stat. I
Uh-huh.
want that very badly. That
I
is kind of
like
going to
the
be a big one for
interrupted goal
me.
stat. That's one of my favorites. That's actually one
That was
after
cool.
LAIC was one of my suggestions for like the player of the game end game metrics. I thought that'd be a cool one to have. Like it would
Yeah,
look really good for attackers, right? Who are often get a lot of those. Zealot would have been absolutely dominating in the grand finals with that stat. Would have been very fun. So,
exactly. Yeah, that's a good one. And that's like you're defending the goal zone. You're
right.
like stopping the dunk. Like that is a very, I feel like, healthy like metric to award people for. So I am very excited and hopefully optimistic. Like seriously, that like one line of text
I
is
know.
like giving me a
It's
lot of hope right
giving us some
now.
momentum.
Yeah, and I'm also curious. So in this, they didn't necessarily say like, "Hey, we're changing matchmaking." They
Yeah.
just kind of said we're changing how we're doing ranked.
Yeah.
But I am also hopium, crossing my fingers that maybe these little badges are gonna help with matchmaking in some way. That's pure hopium for the record. But I'm
We'll
just
see.
like, I don't know, maybe that helps somehow in some way, but we'll see.
Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
So like,
Let's
don't get your hopes up.
yeah, we've already been cautiously optimistic too much today.
I
Let's get into the
know.
next huge change. The addition of the new legend rank. So for top trainers wanting a challenge, which is a lot of players, we're adding a new rank above master rank, legend. This new highest rank will be awaiting competitive players. So you can take a look at this graphic. So the points to get from beginner class 5 to class 1, you'll need 500 points. Same for great, same for expert, same for veteran, same for ultra. And then once you get out of ultra into master, just like how it kind of works currently, it resets you into a new elo in which you will start at 0. And if you get to 999 elo in master, you will then move on to legend, which starts at 1000 and then goes up to 99,999. I really can't wait for the race to 99,999.
Oh God.
I need to see the first player to reach that rank in legend. That'll be kind of sick. I feel like I want to put out a bounty. Like I will give the first player
Ooh.
that I will give them all of my world's exclusive staff pins for my career. Like something like that. I don't know. Maybe we'll think of something. We'll think of something. But anyway, this seems interesting. I like this secondary tier between master and legend. I'm curious on how it operates. Like, are we going to be able to drop between these now, or do you stay
Oh.
at one? Because of how huge the available points are for the legend rank, I'm imagining no. Like, I'm kind of imagining you don't drop out of legend rank. But the fact
Right.
that it okay, so here's my theory, which it can be kind of hard to tell from all these like screenshots and stuff. I think in beginner through ultra, I don't think you will ever lose points. Your ranked points.
Right. Yeah.
You
I
will
think
never lose points on this gauge. I'm imagining you will just not get very many, and you will slowly climb out. However, when master, since it resets you back down to 0, I think you will lose points and go back and forth, kind of like current elo rating in master. So that would make me think that you would be able to drop out of legend and back into master rank, because they're kind of they're on their own like hinging axis, if you will, and then the rest of them are not. You know what I mean? The rest of the ranks. So
yeah,
that's what I'm thinking, but we'll see.
I feel like they'll still have like, so you'll be able to fluctuate within like ultra and veteran like as you do right now, but you won't be able to drop from ultra to veteran.
That's what I'm
Like
thinking.
that will
Yeah.
be the
Mm-hmm.
like they kind of do that now. I'm imagining like they still have like 5 through 1, so like
Also, they
you'll
added 5 through 1 to beginner, great, and expert again, right? Weren't those less
I think
before
they
this
were
change?
3.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they were all 3,
Er,
and then maybe expert was 4, or maybe veteran was 4, and then ultra was
it's
the
been a
first one that's
while.
5. I forget. But I'm pretty
Been a
confident that
while.
those were less. But yeah, they're all full 500 points. So maybe just hoping by the time you making master a little more competitive for new players making their way through. That if you can get there, hopefully you're a little bit better. But we'll see.
Yeah. And I wonder if like the where they drop you down to will still be like the same, like
Yeah, the ranked
Ultra
reset's
5
a
is
whole
going to be
new
like
question for sure.
2001, and like if you're 1600 you would get like Ultra 3, which is now going to be like 2300, I guess. Ultra. um
Yeah.
I would imagine those are the same,
Mm-hmm.
but
See.
I am curious about like, yeah, because now it seems like the master / legends pool is like basically they're just like dividing up the masters player pool, which
Exactly.
is the player pool.
Yeah, yeah,
which
that's
is
the thing.
good.
And that might not change. We'll see, but it's just like hopefully the players that are just have played enough games to get to master will just stay in master. They'll be like properly ranked and they'll hang out in master, and the players who have played enough games to get to master and are good enough will then end up in legend. Like that is the hope. That will be a deviation between the player bases. But we'll see.
Yeah, obviously we saw like the points gained from winning, but I wonder what the loss like metric is gonna be.
And
like
how good streaks are. That's like always a big thing in any gauge like
Oh,
system, right? Is win streaks are pretty
okay.
huge. Because like the screenshot that is shown in this one is just a victory and it's just a plus 20. There's nothing mentioning like win streak bonus or anything like that. So I'm assuming those are going to be pretty, those will be pretty impactful, is what I imagine. But yeah, like I said, I don't think
Yeah.
you'll ever lose points for a loss at any point until master is going to be my assumption. But we'll see.
Yeah, I would it would be cool like once you hit master, like whatever that like point loss is, like right now, whatever, it's like -5 if you lose. It would be I doubt they would do this, but it would be nice if like the loss gauge was like kind of larger, but if you got any of those like achievements, it would like lessen the blow quite a bit, so it still encourages you to like do your best, even if you're like, oh, I'm in a losing situation scenario, but if I do the best I can, it won't be as bad.
Yeah,
then.
if I played the best on my team, hopefully it doesn't hurt as much. Yeah, that is true. It would also hopefully punish griefers a little bit more, right? Because then they're not getting any metrics,
It's a
and
bigger
then
loss.
are not getting any bonuses, so therefore aren't holding their rank. They're losing their rank faster. Hopefully that's the case.
That would be great.
These are more optimistic things, but maybe they could be the truth. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot to say about. I think we're gonna know a lot more information later this week when this drops, which is gonna be crazy. I saw chat asking, "Do you think everybody's going back down to beginner?" I certainly hope not. I think
Jesus Christ,
I think
you'll
it'll
never
just
see
be
me in master again.
It'll just be ultra class 5 for anybody who's in master, I'm sure, and then it'll go.
I
from
would
there.
imagine.
Gives all the players who are already going to be in legend just a chance to see what it's like in the ultra formation, and then we'll go on from there. But it's gonna be kind of what I imagine will end up being the case. But yeah. Okay, and then we talked about the Kyogre map. I don't think there was too much to change, too much to say that we missed out on in the actual tweet. But yeah, so there we added Groudon. We've been able to deliver a different Theia Sky Ruins experience. With this update, we're going to make multiple changes to the map, including its shape and tall grass. Don't know what they mean by the shape.
Yeah, what do they mean by shape?
Yeah, what's up with your shape opinion? But yeah, look at the buffs locations. That is so interesting. Like, you called it out, but like on this image, oh, well, there's a high def one. Use that for the thumbnail later. But anyway, but yeah, like
Save
the
it.
one buff being closer and then the other buff being farther, and it looks like a ball toy spawn location in like
Yeah, it just looks like
kind of the corners. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Man, imagine if they give us old blue buff back. You get like knock out wild Pokemon faster. That'd be insane.
That would be kind of crazy.
It would be crazy. There's so much more tall grass. I'm kind of excited for the tall grass on the top path. That's like on the top side of the map. That seems like kind of
Yeah,
fun.
around the Reggie pit. Yeah, there is so much grass in the
Yeah.
Kyogre pit.
Do you
It
think
is
we still
like
have
kind of
Natus? Or
scary.
do we lose Natus? We'll see what
Oh,
happens.
I wanted to learn more about the like is Drago still gonna be here? Like I kind
Yeah.
of hope
A new
I kind of
Reggie?
want
A
it.
new unique Reggie? No, of course not.
Pokemon UNITE Reggie variant.
Reggie.
Let's go.
Beep bop.
Pokopia got him. We can too.
You imagine Professor Tangrowth as the mid boss? What the heck?
Yes, yes. Pokopia map crossover, please.
Well, that we
Someday.
have to end the podcast if that's ever the case. Like, we just have to hang it up.
Yeah, we're
Like,
done.
we achieved everything we ever could with this show if that collab does happen. Like, we just
It
gotta hang
really
it up.
would never get better.
Yeah, there's no
no,
reason to
that's it.
continue doing the show at that point. Reggie Eos. Ooh, it's like
Oh.
a stellar typing Reggie. Ooh, we'll see. Okay.
Oh my god. Okay.
This is the other
Whoa.
huge change, and I honestly forgot it was still here, and the episode's still going, baby. Longest episode ever. All right,
Where's
Bridget.
Wonder Chef?
Let's regard the changes to EXP point distribution, shall we? Because we will be adjusting battle experience mechanics in the December 18th update. So, reminder, this is not happening this week. This is happening
Oh, thank God.
later, which is interesting. I'm kind of shocked they're not just like doing it all at once, but whatever.
It's a lot of change.
Yeah, for sure. Until now, the way EXP points were distributed was complex. That's true. The inter-university video helped a
They
lot,
still
so
don't
go
know
watch
it.
that one until
Yeah,
December
hey.
18th, I guess. And the amount
Yeah.
distributed fluctuated based on a variety of conditions, such as which player defeated the Pokemon and whether a nearby ally was holding EXP share. This narrowed which held items and strategies players used. Yep, we had 2 EXP shares on every competitive team for the last 2 years. And made it difficult to understand how to work together with allies along paths. We are discontinuing this system and will be changing how experience points are distributed to make leveling up with allies easier. Main changes to this system. Gaining EXP points as a group. Experience points gained by defeating wild Pokemon with an ally will be evenly split between all players in the group, regardless of who defeated the Pokemon or whether a nearby ally is holding experience share. In addition, the total experience points gained at a team will be greater when defeating wild Pokemon with an ally than when defeating wild Pokemon solo. So essentially, you're getting the bonus that EXP share had before, where it generated extra experience that didn't exist beforehand. This change makes it important to work together. Furthermore, the total amount of EXP points gained when defeating wild Pokemon in a group of 3 or more will be the same as when defeating wild Pokemon as a pair. They will never want 113 to exist again, ever.
No, they
and,
shot that dead.
and honestly, I'm happy with that, but still, yeah,
Yeah,
that's fine.
that was crazy. I can't even believe it like ever
Right.
used to exist.
I mean, Lucario players were having a good time. Just getting a 1v1
But
all day.
yeah,
That was a good
they
time.
literally it was like their dream. It was wild up there. My top
Yeah.
laner played Crustle, so
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
And then, of course, changes to experience share. Due to the changes above, experience share will no longer affect how EXP points are distributed. They have to be reworking that hell item, right? Like, they
I mean, there's
have
no
to
way
be.
it's just a movement speed item.
That's it.
Now.
That's it. Yeah. And then
Yeah.
you, like, I guess the passive of it, right? Where if you're the lowest level in your team, you passively
Oh,
earn
that's
EXP.
true. That's true.
That portion feels like it should probably stay.
Yeah.
Because, like, but then maybe it goes on, like, more score-focused Pokemon. Actually, score-focused Pokemon level up pretty quick in this game, so I don't even know. I don't know if they haven't touched Goal Hacker. If that's true. That's a good
We
point.
don't talk about Goal Hacker, bro.
I would love to talk about Goal Hacker given the opportunity.
Goal
but-
Hacker has been a failed experiment by
Yeah.
Harvard.
Okay, we have future improvements to talk about, but first and foremost, how do you feel about this EXP share changes? I mean, you're the light bulb holder, so how you feeling?
I feel very like Stockholm syndrome, like attached to my light bulb, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
It's like a comfort to me to have the light bulb.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, like I'm smart and I know how it
Yeah.
works. I'm
Makes
wearing
you
the
feel
light
like you can do
bulb.
math.
Like
You're like, I can't.
yeah. Like it's like a flex to like all of my SLQ teammates who don't know what it means. And I'm like, I know what it means. But I do agree that if the vast majority of the player base was not willing to learn how XP worked in this game, it was never going to happen. So,
Yeah,
like,
okay.
by and large, like, we weren't ready for EXP share. You know what I mean? Like, we just, we weren't ready. So, it is complicated. It is unironically complicated, and it's changed. EXP shares even change throughout the years, so it's like sometimes people still get mad if you're wearing the light bulb and you last hit, and they're like, they don't know what changed. You know, it's just like it's been a point of contention. So I think simplifying this is a overall dub. It makes it so like, I mean, L for me, because it made my lane partner enormous, because 9 times out of 10, the other team does not have one, and it's an auto, like, level. Like you said, it was creating XP out of thin air. So it was just, by equipping one item, we had an advantage, which obviously, optimally, I'm going to do that. But it makes it so, like, if you are in solo queue and your random slow bro is not putting on the light bulb, like, you are not at an inherent disadvantage to just by like loading into the game. So I think overall it makes like for a better solo queue environment, which is like groundbreaking, and it is just gonna lead to more creative support and tank builds, I think.
Creative is one word. I'm kind of worried about defender supports getting 3 items again. We might get some broken defender supports out there, I think. We'll see.
That's actually true. That might be a bad thing. Maybe we needed the pseudo mega stone on the
assault vest stunts going to Saint Smim. I've been saying score shield is a busted item in this metagame right now. I'm telling you, people are sleeping on score shield. I guarantee it. I'm slapping score shield into a lot of Pokemon. Okay. Now, one thing about this change, does this read to you as almost like a retcon to what they originally said about the like forced EXP share on defender supports that they talked about as a plan that they were going to be implementing? Because that's what this reads to me as. Because I remember that happened forever ago when we were like, Hopium, oh my god, like Unite's getting developers again. And I think it was a plan, wasn't it? I believe it was in a developer letter. I swear it was. I think it was an early on developer letter, like around when like Groudon was first announced, right after Worlds. It was never announced? Okay.
I thought it was
I'm
a
hallucinating.
leak in the game.
Okay.
It's okay.
I guess it was.
We knew you're crazy.
I guess it was just a leak. Fine. Smarter people than me are letting me know it was just a leak. But okay. So great. I think this is way better than that. So I'm a huge fan of that, right? Like, we're going to get some fun stuff. It feels like supports where you could still have, like, carry builds, you know what I mean? Like, we can still have Latias attacker, or, like, in situations like that, we could have new support, or whatever. And honestly, maybe more so in that case. So, Russell Spraggle's video. We also did a video on, doesn't matter, whatever, Smim.
There's no respect. It's all about this Spraggles guy, man.
Loves the content cowboy so freaking much,
I'm sick of it. I'm over it. This freaking star of our game that is perfect.
Handsome and good at his job.
He's so funny too. It's not fair.
I wish he was bad at Unite, but unfortunately, he's also really good at the game.
At least maybe Timmy will keep nerfing Dodrio. Yeah, that's all I can hope for at this point.
Except for SEA. Or no, what was the region that had a 10% win rate or won it or whatever? I think it was like, was it LAIC? Yeah, except for the West.
I don't know, but
okay. Let's LAIC and SEA, that's true. Okay, let's quickly talk about these planned future improvements. Additional features. Play again with the same team. Cool. That button's showing up. You know, I've used this in competitive games in the past, and it's been kind of fun. I remember Overwatch implemented a system very similar to this, and it was like, it was a huge hit for a while. Usually it's like you have one really good game, and then you all queue again, and then you get bodied, and you immediately all disperse. It's usually how this system works, but hey, get a chance to play with a couple people might be kind of fun. You also have invite players to voice chat, which is kind of cool. I mean, most players are just going to end up using Discord or something like that, but hey, having the opportunity to have voice, and maybe this will be nicer for like Switch players or something to like use their voice chat in game, because it's kind of awkward for Switch players to use in-game voice chat, so we'll see. And then praise teammates using quick chat. Oh, I
We
can
learned
like
nothing from the thanks paying man.
I know this is just a paragraph of text, but all I'm seeing is like a Pandora's box like slowly being lifted. A new quick chat filled with preset messages will be added to the lobby after a battle ends, so at least it's after a battle ends. You'll be able to send teammates
Oh,
messages
good.
such as excellent teamwork last battle or impressive play. Oh no. This is gonna be. It's only after the match, at least. It's not
That's good.
during the match, but oh my word. I hope it sends it to your mailbox too. So after a match, all of a sudden you look over and you go, like, oh, 4 new mail. Okay. You're like,
It's
oh
like the enemy
no.
team being like, nice teamwork last battle,
Yeah.
idiots.
All
That's
of
how I feel
you.
when anyone from the enemy team thumbs me up after
Yeah.
they beat me. I'm like, don't do this. Don't look at
Impressive
me.
play from the 0-2 Greninja. Yeah, it's gonna happen. All of these are being developed with the goal of positive player interactions. Negative or inappropriate voice chat will continue to be discouraged. At this point, it feels like all voice chat, they're continuing to be discouraging as we continue to
Yeah,
work
I
towards a
know.
comfortable environment for all. I don't know. Like, listen, this is a game that they are trying to widely appeal to everyone. Pokemon has always been a game like that, right? Pokemon is not a game. Pokemon is not a game or a brand for kids. They will defend that to their death, their knockout. They are a game for everyone. And when that's the case, like, they are going to be triple, 5 times, 6 times as cautious as any other brand would ever be in an environment like that. They want to preserve that brand above all costs. So yeah, I think voice chat is kind of a foregone conclusion of this game. But for those of you who do use it, and maybe the ones who stack together, great. I'm happy for you. I hope you have the opportunity to use it. I hope it works well. But ultimately, I don't think it will. But anyway.
Yeah, I just heard too many stories of people who do use it or like have tried to use it and they just get banned anyway for not even doing anything wrong. Like you said,
Right.
get why they're need to be extremely strict because like I mean with any game, there are definitely kids playing this game, but this is like their IP. Like
Yeah.
it's crazy Pokemon even made a game like this, first
Yeah.
of all. I like limiting the VC thing to obviously you can turn voice chat on whenever.
Right.
But if you're a guy like me, you have that muted. I do
Oh,
not want to hear anyone talking to me.
Frame 1. Shut
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
Oh, every game I have it turned off. And if I'm like queuing with someone, they're like, "Do you hear this guy?" I'm like, "I sure don't.
On
I
purpose.
definitely don't. Yeah, I do not want to know what they're saying to me." Which kind of sometimes when I did have it on, like it was kind of fun getting someone who was like nice and cool and stuff. But I had like bad experiences, and I just don't like someone saying like my name and being like, "You suck," and I'm like, "Oh, I don't like this.
Yeah.
Get away from me."
Yeah, don't want this feedback. Thank you very much. Yeah,
No,
no,
I'm
there
not
are
accepting feedback at this time.
yeah, for those of you who do enjoy that kind of stuff, especially like I know there's like some old school gamers, right, who like grew up in the Modern
Right.
Warfare 2 lobbies or whatever.
Oof.
For those of you who've trial by fired, I'm sure you're having a blast with it sometimes. Like I'm sure it's either peak comedy or just you're having a great time. That's fine. But yeah, for others, I can see it not being a super fun experience. But all right. Well, Bridget, I think that brings us to the end of our discussion. I feel like there's all of the topics that we hit tonight. We probably could have gone even deeper on, but at this
I
point,
know.
at this
We did
point, we just
good.
got to go next. We'll have an episode next week where we'll have a bunch of these updates in game. Not the experience share, but like license points will be added in, right? I think at this point.
Yeah,
as
and a
well
new
as,
game. I'm pretty sure we're getting a new game UI, right? On the 4th?
Yeah,
might have
I think it's shop
glanced
UI
over
is
that
what they're
one.
like moving for, but.
They already changed the shop UI.
Oh, that of course. Yeah, they already did. Can you imagine if the new game UI is the freaking open world? They just like
Well, that's what I'm
they
like.
just
I know
drop it
we
on
kind
a
of keep
random December 4th. They're like, here.
we
And
kind
you're
of
like,
keep talking about like the. I know people are like, we haven't gotten anything from China mode since like first to 500, but I'm like, no,
That's not
like we've
true.
gotten some of the
Yeah.
mini games.
Yeah.
Like the shop UI is absolutely. I feel
China
like,
mode,
well,
yeah.
I guess I shouldn't say absolutely, but I'm pretty sure it's the China UI because it looks like Honor
Yeah.
of Kings, and that is my only
Uh-huh.
POV.
Electrode
but-
volleyball, Charge-a-Bug shuffle, or whatever. Both of which I think are banger game modes. Like
They are. People loved them.
Yeah, especially Electrode volleyball. Hosting that
Volleyball
tournament,
was lit.
me and Kyle casted that too. Some of my favorite experiences ever running
It
a
was
stream. I think
awesome.
we were getting that was just a blast. But yeah, there's a lot of insane things. But yeah, if they somehow update it to make the open world lobby thing work. Like that whole.
I swear it's in that letter.
But there's but there it probably is like
But
the
it's
game
like a
UI
line.
change. But there's no way they do that big of a change just casually, right?
That would be crazy. But I am
Okay, so
like
improvements
I
to
said,
the main menu. The shop screen was changed in October 2025, but as of December 4th, 2025, the main menu will also change. Similar UI improvements are also planned for the future. So, I don't know. That doesn't read to me as
it
open
means
world lobby.
nothing.
Like that's hey, we got a main menu change. And honestly,
But you're
great.
saying there's a chance.
If there's any world you're not barraged with 12 different pop-ups every time you load into this game, I'll take
God,
it.
it's so bad.
It's so bad, and if you've ever made a new account and tried to do it, it's triple the amount of pop-ups, by the way. It is, I mean, they're giving you a lot of free stuff, which is great, but still, it's like, oh my, I tried to like show my friends the game recently,
It's
like
comical.
a couple months ago, and I'm like, I was like, because it was like anniversary event as well. I'm just like, oh my gosh.
I
it's
love
so
you like
bad.
apologizing for just like opening the game up.
Yeah.
You're like, damn, I'm sorry. My
It's
bad,
like impossible
guys.
to ignore. They're like, what the heck? And I'm like, just keep hitting X. And the X is going to be in different spots, but just keep hitting. It's not good. It's
Oh,
not
I
good.
love my silly Pokemon MOBA.
Me too. I actually do like this game as much as our energy is not always in that way. I actually am really having a good time with this game right now. And well, they buffed Mimikyu, so that's where I'm at. Maybe we get a balance patch this Thursday as well.
Yeah,
that could also
I'm
happen.
I'm expecting one. We're due for big patch.
Yeah,
So
true.
and there's no tourneys this weekend, and
Right.
that's not the case for many weekends.
Yeah,
So I
no
would
tourneys
imagine
this weekend. That would make sense.
it's coming with this map, but
do a balance
I
patch
don't
right
know.
before EXP points change. It's kind of crazy. Maybe we triple leaf tornado damage. Let's do it. Okay.
Oh my god.
We gotta call this thing. So thank you
We gotta
everybody
go.
so much for listening to this episode. If you made it to the end of the episode, honestly, huge congratulations to you and yours. Happy holidays and all the
job.
rest. If you're watching this on YouTube, please in the comments let us know. What are you most excited for about Pokemon Unite right now? Because there's a ton going on. Is it new map? Is it some of the changes coming to game in terms of like ranked or EXP share? Is it the championship leagues that are happening right now, both the ones closer to us in NA and LATAM and EU, or the Asia Champions League? What is it? What's got you actually hyped for Pokemon Unite right now? Because I'm pretty excited, so I want to hear what all of you are thinking the same way. But thank you so much, Bridget. Before we get out of here, anything you want to plug? I know you're casting around like 12 different tournament series, so any of those that you want to shout out, and then we can get out of
Well,
here?
I am going to be helping out with an engaged tourney this weekend. Their Ultra Series,
Sure.
I think. I'm not casting, but they're doing like a panel in between,
Cool.
like during like the downtime.
Analyst
I guess.
Bridget.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah, I really don't really know what I signed up for. People just ask me to do things, and I'm like, yes, I will do it.
Yes.
But I know Attica is going to be hosting, which is pretty exciting.
cool.
I'm pretty sure like Husky and Kyle and Draku are actually casting the tournament and going to be involved.
Okay.
I know Chifty's going to be on the panel with me. Someone from Soul 8 actually, I think, is going to be on the panel, which I'm pretty excited about, from India. I don't
Okay.
really know,
Sweet.
but it should be on the Engage GGINGAGE_GG maybe on Twitch, and I'll probably tweet about it. So follow me on Twitter, Big
Yeah.
Bridget. I will be talking about it. But yeah, that is what I'm doing Saturday and Sunday.
Perfect. Quick plugs for Unite Mics. Just make sure if you're following us wherever you are, just Unite Mics is basically everywhere. So socials, but specifically on YouTube, and then this podcast you can find it at Overdunk on Spotify, things like that. You want to follow me? I'm at Zoinkscast, both on Twitter and on TikTok as well. I've been posting some more things there, so go check that out. Funny, I wanted to call it out. I just thought this was quite hilarious when I posted that we're going live for the episode today. The original post about the episode got a couple of likes, and then like maybe double the amount of likes when I posted a time correction quote tweet. I said time correction will be live at 8:30 p.m. Eastern instead, and then that one got like double the engagement. So I don't know what's going on. Go follow me on Twitter, fix it, please. All right, thank you so much, everybody. I think that's gonna be the end for one of our biggest episodes yet. I hope you all enjoy it, and we'll see you next week with a brand new freaking video game, I guess. We'll see you
Yeah,
then.
frick it, we ball. Kyogre time.
You're...
Bye.
Bye.